I wouldn't spend a second in eternity with you, but you're going to want to spend a couple hours here on Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today we got the mayor, Ryan Mueller, in the house. The dirt farmer, Clint Bush, is checked in, and the Reverend Charles Hewitt is at the table.
I am here.
Let's go. We're talking about The Vindicator.
I don't understand the title.
1986.
It doesn't seem to. I thought for sure you were saying the worst movie podcast, and today we've got. I thought you were going to go with proof.
Yeah,
we've got proof.
I was about to say it actually. Yes, this is proof.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I can shed some light on the title thing. A couple of the guys that wrote in mentioned this, and then I'd read it myself, that this in other countries was referred to as Frankenstein 87. It was supposed to be, or 88, sorry.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a retelling of Frankenstein, which is referenced in the movie.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Project Frankenstein.
Yep.
Sort of.
But then to cash in on Terminator success, they changed the name to sound like not quite like Terminator, but
Right.
close enough that like, hey, maybe this is like a Terminator movie.
I was also thinking maybe
kinda.
RoboCop.
What?
Is it in the same genre or era as RoboCop?
Funny
was?
you should say that.
What this knockoff of RoboCop
Yeah.
was actually a time traveler.
Yes, because RoboCop came out a year after this one
And it wasn't quite a knockoff of Hands of Steel either. That was
No.
after, wasn't it?
did. That was same year, 86.
Okay.
I don't know which one came out first, but yeah, unless they had a spy on set.
They might have had a
Yeah.
spy.
Hands, get over there and find out what they're doing on Hands of Steel so we can copy them.
Yeah.
Right?
Instead of Paco.
Did they
call
have-
him
I really.
Taco.
It would
Did
have
they
been.
have the boom mics in the shot?
It would
We're
have been
gonna do it too.
awesome. It would have been awesome if they had copied Hands of Steel. It might have made a decent movie to watch.
Is someone reading cue cards? Do it exactly like that.
Do it like that. Yeah, so guys, thank you for joining us on Bad Movies Rule. For those of you, if this happens to be your first time, maybe you found us on Facebook or TikTok or somewhere else, or a friend recommended you, what we're going to do is what we always do. We give you the vitals, who directed it, who starred in it, all the pertinent information, how it qualifies for the show, its ratings, and then we're going to walk you through the movie scene by scene. So in this case, you really don't have to watch The Vindicator. We'll walk you through the story. And then at the end, we're going to give it some awards, some good awards, some bad awards, and we'll ultimately come to a final determination as whether or not this actually is a bad movie or maybe it's actually good. We'll see when we get to the end.
If you happen to be a sadist, this movie can only be found on YouTube
That's right.
Yes.
As of now, yes.
as of currently.
Who knows what the future holds? But
Well,
yes.
we could talk it up so much that they re-release this thing on Laserdisc.
Let's get a Blu-ray of The Vindicator.
That's just what the world needs.
I knew this was an obscure movie when the only trailer I could find for it was in German.
Oh.
When I originally tried to search this out.
So that's an interesting question because the mouth and the words on my TV didn't seem to match.
Oh.
Was that just YouTube?
it might have been because on mine it
Could have
did.
been used.
Did?
Yeah,
Okay.
mine did
Yeah.
too.
Maybe my streaming lag was showing up.
It was actually a Canadian film. It was filmed in Canada.
Yes, because Carl said a boot a lot.
He did. And it was
did a lot of
directed. We'll
oohs.
just get straight into the vitals here. It was directed by a Frenchman, Jean-Claude.
Not that one.
Jean-Claude Lord.
Yeah, I was excited because they typed it out, and Jean-Claude, I'm like, what?
Jean-Claude Van Damme did this one?
I don't know who that guy is.
Could you imagine? Would have been a lot more
Yeah.
spinning kicks
Yes.
and things if that had been the case.
It would have been, well, maybe I'll save my comments.
see. The only other, so he did mostly French films, or maybe French-Canadian films that this guy directed, but he did do a couple of American movies with Michael Ironside. One of those was Mindfield, which I added to the list as soon as I saw the cover art. It looked ridiculous.
Yes.
Michael Ironside, I'll always think of him as Richter from Total Recall. Oh, welcome to the party, Richter, or see you at the party, Richter. That was him, the bad guy, the bald dude. And also the guy from Starship Troopers. The movie was written by Edith Ray and David Preston. Now, Edith Ray also, neither of these guys had like a lot of writing credits, but they did have a few other ones. One, Edith Ray wrote Space Hunter, which is another movie already on our list, which looks absolutely ridiculous. Like even worse, it's like a space movie that looks even worse than Ice Pirates.
Space ice? Ice? I never saw that. I was thinking of that other one.
Possible.
I was thinking of Space Truckers.
There's that one.
Yeah, you like that.
I like that one.
But this one, it really had a long name. It was like Space Hunters Adventures in the Forbidden Zone or something like that. So I'll make sure Clint's on that episode when we do it. Any of you Nickelodeon watchers back in the day saw the old TV show Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yep.
which had those like little short kind of PG
those
horror
shorts,
movies.
yeah.
I was
Short
afraid of
story,
the
yeah.
dark, so I would not watch a show.
Yeah, so David Preston, the other writer, wrote 6 episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Was one of the
Wow.
writers on
So
that.
what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because I loved that show.
I did too.
Movie starred, I am pretty sure I'm not going to say his name right, David McElraith. Like too many L's and not enough vowels.
McIlwraith.
McIlwraith?
Sounds good to me. Sure.
I don't know.
McIlwraith.
It's MCLL right off the bat. Like you're missing a vowel somewhere.
Is he Scottish?
Maybe. Terry Austin, who you might know from Knots Landing. Basically a lot of television actors in this.
I will say the 80s ladies were very attractive in this movie.
Yeah, no, I mean,
In like almost a non-80s way.
Yeah.
what does that mean exactly?
The word coming to mind is transcending the 80s look.
Okay.
Although they were very 80s look. But
very
they were
80s.
often, the main lady particularly was in very full dress for this movie.
Yeah,
Often.
for the most part.
And with shoulder pads.
That's what when I said when you said transcending the 80s, I'm like, they look pretty
No, but
locked
the
into the
rest
80s
of her
to me.
look.
They were lining up
Very
next to LT. Them ladies just them shoulder pads.
Right. She was trying to find out if it was a blitz or she had to play coverage. Richard Cox was also in this movie. And Pam Grier, not to list her fourth, because it's probably the only recognizable name from the movie.
Yep.
But the movie lists her fourth. She gets fourth billing after these people in the opening and closing credit.
They might have been racist.
Completely completely underused.
Shots fired at Jean-Claude Lord.
Jean-Claude Lord.
You think she was underused?
Ridiculously
Well, I
think
underused.
so.
She didn't show up for the first half hour of the movie.
Right. Didn't do a ton
Minimum.
in this one. And
Yeah.
what she did do wasn't, I didn't write her a lot good to do.
No,
really.
I think that's going to be a recurring theme in this film.
I was gonna say, too,
Underused.
you had a lot of TV personalities in here. Kind of explains the soap opera feel it had. To it.
Yeah.
Soap opera. Interesting.
And even, go ahead.
But I was
Days of
gonna
Our
say,
Vindicator.
General Vindicator. Who's that? Actually sounds like it'd be better. It's a war
Yeah,
movie.
seriously.
all my Vindicator's children.
Substantially better. No, the group that did it, not canon, obviously. Whatever the group name was, they did The Legend of Billie Jean, which threw back another one. It's like, man, that's another one of those movies that's absolute trash, and I loved it when I was a kid. So that's got to go on the list if it
If
is.
that's not, I'll check and make sure it gets on there. For sure. No, I was going to say, speaking of TV actors, one of the people we didn't talk about was Catherine Disher, who also plays Catherine, her actual name, in this movie. Went on to be the voice actress for Jean Grey in that famous 90s X-Men Saturday morning cartoon. I don't know how many of you guys watched the X-Men
didn't watch that.
cartoon.
Oh,
I
forgot
loved
about
that cartoon. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
I forgot about that one.
I'll never forget the theme song. But yeah, she was Jean Grey in that. The budget for this movie, this is where it gets really depressing, guys.
Yeah.
$4.2 million. The box office was $12,000.
All right, I can't do percentages very fast, but that's less than 1. All right, that's like 1/4%
Wow. Is that the worst we've ever heard of?
It has to be.
That is a-
12,000?
It has to be.
That is a terrible turnaround.
Man,
That's not going to get it done, Jean-Claude.
That's not. That's wow.
He found himself in the bottom of a river after this. There's no way.
Seriously.
He changed his name to Van Damme
What we have to
immediately.
ask here is, if Jean-Claude Van Damme directed this, does this at least get 24 at the box?
I think at least. I think at least he
He
does.
doubles its income. Wow, 12,000.
I feel like I could have rolled up and goes, guys, I could make you twice that much today. Let's go.
Yeah, we do
Right.
1 day recut on this.
What's
and
even sad about that is 4 is a lot, but that's not that much even to make.
No, but compared to what they made or
But
brought in.
$12,000
yeah.
is awful.
Yeah, the movie currently sits at a 4.9 on IMDb.
That seems
That's
generous.
strong.
And generous. I wonder what Charles thinks. It's got a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, but only because there's only one review. And anytime there's only one review, we talk about who that person is. And so the guy's name is Mike Massey. He gave it a negative review, said a few promising ideas are dwarfed by horrendous acting and terrible soundtrack.
That's why nobody else reviewed it, because that's exactly what he took mine.
He took they logged in and like, oh, he
Just
already
think-
said what I was going to say.
This movie's still not making money because it's playing on YouTube.
They would have doubled their income from opening day on just the 4 of us.
Seriously.
It's playing on YouTube without ads.
That's right. That's true.
Without ads, and it's someone just videotaped it from the TV. Fox Movie Channel showed up on it when I was watching it.
You're right. There wasn't a single ad that
No.
popped up.
Not the beginning, not the middle, not anywhere else.
Bless their hearts. It has an audience score of 23%. So 1/4 of the audience enjoyed the movie.
Well, so
Which one of you was it?
Who's it
We'll
going to be?
see. We'll find out at the end.
Someone was drunk doing coke or something.
So yeah, it's not. Check the trash can. See if it's in that.
See if
In there.
it's
Gotta be in there.
Wow.
All right, look, if you're as crazy as we are and you enjoy watching things like The Vindicator, or you enjoy the show and you've been listening for a while, would you consider joining us on our Patreon? It's patreon.com/badmoviesrule. We are a listener-supported podcast. We're an indie show. The guys that are on there, the guys and gals that are on there have helped us to not only have this studio here, but also to keep the lights on and just keep things going and give us opportunities to do new spin-off shows like Good Movies Rule, which is only on Patreon, and an upcoming cartoon-focused show that we're going to be doing in the fall coming up here. And so as little as $3 a month, you can get access to those new shows, and there's other tiers where you can participate in the show and all kinds of other things. So go on there and check it out. The link is in the show notes, patreon.com/badmoviesrule. And if you'd just like to reach out to the show and let us know your feedback on this episode or other episodes, or like, hey, I saw Vindicator and this is what I think about it, it's glorious, shoot that email to thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. Again, I don't know why I'm out of breath. thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. You guys ready to just dive straight into this plot?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. I think I was already laughing so much, I'm like already out of breath over here.
I think, can I just make one more plug for Patreon?
Please.
We could use a better chair for me to sit in. So please donate.
Okay, we need we need a higher
join.
chair.
My chair is not, I don't know what's going on over here. Where did this chair come from?
I don't even know. All right, we got to get Charles a new chair.
Give me a new chair.
You get at least one person to sign up and get a new chair for Charles.
It can be cheap. It just needs to be better than this.
Perfect. That was real cheap. That one. That
Yeah,
you're sitting
I'm
on
guessing
right
it
now.
was. It's Vindicator money going on over here.
We're not making that. We're not
didn't
making
make
that
no
Mr.
12
Beast
grand
money.
yet.
out
No,
here. Yeah,
we're
right.
not Mr. Beast yet.
Technically, we haven't made as much as this movie made.
Right,
so-
it's true. There you go.
There we go.
We're punching up.
That's right. That's what.
This is the first one on our.
Yeah.
Like we can surpass this.
Can I say too? I was very excited when I was watching the credits,
Yeah.
the beginning credit, or not whatever they call those.
Yeah. Opening credits.
And Frankenstein came up, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is going to have
from
something
Death Race?
to do with Frankenstein. and I was getting excited.
With a hand, maybe you'd have a hand grenade.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't. No David Carradine to be seen
No.
anywhere.
I would have been happy with just a normal Frankenstein. But yeah, I was like, oh, this could be interesting. It's got a Frankenstein character.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the synopsis of it, right? It's a retelling of Frankenstein. It's like I don't know, countless movies we've talked about, countless movies that exist. It's a bunch of scientists that sit around, they're like bored or something, like, should we play God?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah, what else are we gonna do? I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
That's like how many movies have we seen where scientists play God and it goes perfectly fine?
That's
and
right.
nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Never. Never once. It always goes wrong. And it does
Yes.
here too as well.
Yes, I wish people would recognize the Terminator movies for that quality. Stop trying to bring AI into existence that will kill us all.
Seriously.
Come on now, people.
All right, so the movie opens at random, or I should say generic research center number 1.
Yes.
Yes.
What are they researching?
I don't know, but
does
they're-
it matter?
Oh, no.
They're certainly
Primates, obviously.
pissing off monkeys is all I gotta say.
We're researching science. Mind your
Science.
business.
We're poking
Yes.
monkeys.
Poking monkeys.
It's one of those things. In this movie is a running theme. They never feel it's needed to explain much of anything, let alone what kind of science they're researching here. In fact, they're just, like you said, poking monkeys and pissing them off.
Yes.
It starts off, there's a chimp in a cage.
Yep.
And they're like, how bad can we piss this monkey off? you
Yeah.
think?
Let me
First,
hit
like-
the enter key and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Like here,
They're
I
controlling
typed this command.
Yeah.
Touch your tongue. All right, cool. Cross your arms.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Like when he gets pissed off, though, check this out. And then like the head scientist guy comes in and is like,
Gale.
what happens when you really piss him off?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So Gail's sitting there talking to
Smoking
whatever,
up a storm, by the way.
They all
Oh, yeah.
are.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's 80s.
She's even got the fancy scientist
Fancy scientist
cigarette holder
Yeah.
on the end of
Yeah.
it. And like she thinks she's a French model or
Yeah,
something.
well, it's
So
French
she's-
director.
Yeah, you're right. And
Maybe that's how
she's-
she got the part. He's like,
She's
oh,
looking at this
that
monkey.
girl,
She's like, all right,
cigarette holder.
she's like, look, we got this with this keyboard, we can control him, right? It's because before they had apps. Right now, you just have an app on your
Right.
phone. And you're like, all right,
Now they just punch it up
Punch
on
it
their
up on their phone.
iPhone and say, okay, where's my piss off the monkey app? Open that up.
There's
watch
this thing she's developed, this like rage reaction, right? It's like
the dumbest
she
thing.
can make anytime anything touches it or comes close. Or no, it has to be
When he's
physical
threatened,
contact.
Yeah.
then this rage response activates.
Really mad.
And he kills whatever it is.
Yeah, he goes crazy.
And so this little toy robot comes out and he smashes it to pieces the second it touches him. And she's like, yeah, pretty cool, right? And you're right, Beardo.
Hey, can you turn it off? I can, but I don't have to, because once the threat is gone, so is the rage.
And I thought to myself, that's pretty much true of every biological system.
That's how rage
Once
works.
the threat is gone, the rage dissipates, or you would pretty much die. So
Science!
Yeah. So I was expecting Lou Ferrigno to come crashing through the wall here at some point. And
instead, I was legitimately concerned for the health and welfare of the monkey.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, for sure.
Because I'm thinking 80s, did they care?
No.
What's that one famous movie, Broderick and the Monkeys?
Project X.
Had that come out yet? Had we learned that
I think maybe
monkeys
it had.
are
I think it was
valuable?
85 maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, but for sure. It was, and then you're right. Beardo, the other scientist, like it's like a level above her, comes in and was like, that's not good enough. Let's piss it off more. And he goes, hey, asshole. And he just comes over and starts like poking it with
a stick.
Stick.
you know? And he's like, yeah, it's stupid monkey.
Well,
you like this?
Let's give him a little bit of a break. He probably was just coming off snuffing cocaine up his nose.
he probably was.
I know we like to joke in the 80s they were all doing coke,
Yes,
but this
this
character
guy
is
really was.
literally in the movie
Literally,
doing
yeah.
coke.
Doing coke
literally
with
did coke in
a
the movie.
prostitute in his
Maybe.
room?
It's
I don't know.
undetermined.
Undetermined.
I think that was his secretary.
Yeah.
And so the monkey gets so pissed off it dies.
Yes.
It just
Yeah.
Yes, just like hemorrhage.
Blood. My daughter
Brain
was watching,
exploded.
and she
Yeah.
says, "Why is he bleeding from the mouth?" I said, "I don't know. I think he hurt himself."
Who hasn't been there before?
And then Beardo, which is all I call him because we don't even hear his name, which I think is Ian, till like very close to the
Is
end
it
of
Ian?
the movie. Beardo walks back over to Gale and he's basically it's just like, well, Gale, that sucked. Do better, right?
You got a lot more work to do.
Right.
And Gale's
Gotta make
pissed
sure the
off
monkey
that
don't die.
Yeah.
or Monkey Project or whatever. No one knows what they're doing here.
He did say a great line. I'll be a monkey's uncle.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yep.
That's
I mean,
a fantastic bit
they
of
didn't do
writing.
that in Project X, so they got
No.
that going for him.
Then we cut over and we get to meet Carl and Lauren. What a sweet couple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Carl,
just love
they're
each
just sitting on their
other.
couch.
They got a baby coming.
They
Baby's
do.
coming.
How are we doing?
And, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure you can't do twins after the fact.
Right. I don't think that's how it works.
It's like you want
Well-
to do twins. It doesn't work that way.
They've got
wanna
a little
try
bit of
for
one of
it?
them
and
prego
Carl's
things
supposed
going
to be
on.
a scientist. I mean, come on.
Right, but
I mean,
Carl's
even if you were a scientist and you were smart and you thought your wife was dumb enough to think that that's how it worked, you'd be like, "Yep, sure enough, let's
Yes,
try."
I'm pretty sure they were
And
just
they did.
flirting and
I
playing.
know.
They were a lovely
Yeah.
married
They were
couple who
trying to
enjoyed
go
having
for
sex
twins.
still.
Yeah, and Carl's too mad about his funding to be focused on that,
Yes.
right? My
They took
funding
my money.
for the thing that I was doing.
I was
that-
building these silicon
Silicon, that was the
processors.
word. I
Right.
was trying to remember what he's doing.
Silicon
Something.
chips.
Silicon.
Yeah, he's doing chips.
Silicon.
and I'm going in there tomorrow and I'm marching into Alex's office and I'm telling him I need my funding.
I need my funding, Alex.
Okay.
And then Alex says, "Don't worry, it'll be okay. You'll see in a week or 2 days. It's great."
He walks in legitimately and says,
He storms in.
"Yeah,
does.
right past the secretary who says, no,
Right in
Yeah.
there.
Just goes right in. If you don't, I'm gonna blow the doors wide open on this thing.
On what thing?
Yeah, we don't
Whatever
know.
he's doing that's wrong. He doesn't. It can't be right.
It looked like
No.
there was all kinds of stuff going on that was wrong there. So
Yeah, I don't think he
something.
knew
Take your
about
pick.
angry chimps.
He's like, I want my funding for the thing. And he's like, well, we got that for other things. What kind of the big things? And maybe you could be part of
In
the
2
thing.
days, you'll find out, and then
maybe.
you'll be happy. You'll be part of the thing.
Gail just pissed off a monkey to the point it died.
Yeah.
We got to buy another monkey.
We got
And
other
here-
monkeys.
Is the point where I first take a what the heck, because the intention here is that it's like, oh well, we're gonna react to this guy threatening us by
Yeah.
Yeah.
setting up this reactor malfunction.
Well, he seems to placate Carl at first. Like Carl seems to be okay with.
Right.
In a couple days, we'll let you in on the thing. Like, we don't
But
even
they
know
had
what it
set
is.
that up before because it takes him 47 steps to walk down the hallway to his lab,
Yeah.
and they already have this set up with the guy sleeping on his table. There's no way, like they were already going to kill him. It had nothing to do with him storming into the office.
Yeah, we do see that it's Hawaiian shirt day at work.
You
so
got to
that's
make
fun.
better humans. You
that's
got to
always
find a
good.
human to make better.
Yeah, I just thought back to Office Space as soon as I saw that. Right
I
there.
actually thought of about halfway through this movie and going, I bet this is exactly what Apple looked like with Steve Jobs back in the 80s.
Alex is a fill-in for
Yeah,
Steve
totally.
Jobs.
I bet you exactly what it was.
How many people did we can't say that on here? How many did he disappear?
Well,
Yeah, so we meet Bert before things go awry. We do meet Bert.
Bert, I love Bert.
Who is his best buddy, and he's a cool best friend. He bought him a card to say congratulations on your new baby coming.
A baby.
They share some
baby.
Well, they try to share some witty dialogue.
He hugs him.
Can I have your family?
Yeah. All right, Bert's a little weird.
He's a little weird.
He asks Carl. I think he's supposed to be joking. Hey, can I have your, because he's complaining about something. He's like, hey, I'll have your family, or can I have your family if you don't want them?
Yeah, they telegraphed that pretty well, though, throughout the whole movie.
And he's like, oh, sure, man. If anything ever happens to me, they're
You
yours.
can have
Like,
mine,
joking around.
Yeah.
But Bert was like, he said yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He said,
10 minutes. All right, we're go. That was the boss man, Beardy McBeard dude, says like, hey, set it up however you want. It's like, I'm not doing it unless he'll give me his family.
And Bert is played by Maury Chaklin, who was the grits guy from My Cousin Vinny.
Oh,
The guy that cooks the grits in 5 minutes, or claimed to have, right?
Yeah.
I like Bert.
Yeah.
You use instant grits?
And so suddenly it's Carl's beep booping on his science machine, and suddenly it starts getting a little hot in there.
Hot.
In the science cabinet where the things are happening. And he goes over with his joysticks and he's trying to fix the problem.
Yeah, I loved how the safety feature was a claw game.
Yeah.
Because that's always super effective at getting things out when you need to.
So they got that right.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I can't grab a teddy bear out of that thing. I think I'm going to grab
I'm
this.
going to grab this silicon thing and it only had 2 pinchers even.
Yeah.
He's like, dang, it keeps slipping. It's not working.
He's got to put another quarter in. And
Yeah.
then he has 2 more minutes to try
And he's like,
and
I'm
get
going to
it
have
out.
to open it then. And he gets another claw thing and he's going to try to grab it with that. I'm like, geez, these people need more science.
Yeah, he's got this crucible or whatever he's trying to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And he goes in, to go into the hot box, he's like, oh, don't worry, it's okay, I have goggles on. And he puts on his goggles. That'll protect him.
He puts on a raincoat and goggles.
Right.
And by the end, his shirt is open too. Did you notice that? Like his whatever
Never
white
mind
lab
that there's
coat.
a button that he probably could hit.
Yeah, why it
Shut
said
this thing
shutdown on it? Why didn't he touch the
They showed
shutdown
it 3
button? Yes,
times.
they did.
I'm like, they keep showing this
From
button.
like above in his office,
Right.
and then on the panel when he's down there, and no, he's trying to use the claw, and then he's using the.
Like, I got to get this
tongs.
out of here. It's
Yeah.
going to ruin my silicon. I don't even have any more funding.
It was my funding. I can't do this. That's why he
If we
didn't
use
have
the
somebody
button.
else to do it. He was out of funding.
Yeah.
Out of funding.
It's all built by the lowest bidder. There's this bright 5-inch button that says shut down right on it, flashing blue right in front of him. Never touches it.
Never touches it.
And finally it goes boom, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a shot of him like going, no.
But he sees somebody in the window.
Yep.
He tries to call, somebody let me out of here, because now the door's locked
Yeah,
behind
why is the
him.
door locked?
And we see Beardo is up on the scaffolding up there or whatever, looking down. Bert is also nowhere to be seen, but I think Bert left before he went in there.
He went to get coffee.
Went to get coffee or whatever. And then it's a smash cut. It's like literally from the explosion to we're at the funeral.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
There's a lot of those in this movie. I was like jarred around going, what's happening?
yeah,
Lack of money.
Moving fast.
lack of money, straight to the funeral.
I did like the Cadillac. Did you see the Cadillac flower car?
I didn't.
For a period of time, Cadillac made a funerary car, and it was like a normal Cadillac on the front, and then they put like a small pickup bed where they would just put the flowers in.
Like an El Camino?
Kind of, yeah. Flower-ish.
A Cadillac Amino?
Cadillac Amino for funerals. Yeah.
What do you think those fetch these days? If you
I've
get
seen.
your
I
hands
think
on one?
the reason I noticed it because I think I
$4.2
saw
million.
one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
That's where they spent the budget.
That's where they spin it. I saw one on Marketplace a while back, and I'm like, "What the heck is that Cadillac doing?" And then I found out it was an actual thing they built for a while.
Yeah, so Alex, who's the main evil scientist, he's even Beardo's boss, walks up to Lauren, who's sobbing at the funeral, oh man, Carl was such a good guy. We're really going to miss Carl. We're all just so crushed. And she right to his face goes, bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Such a great scientist. We're going to miss his science.
Science.
And so she's not buying it at all.
No, she's mad.
And
Should have given him more funding, and he wouldn't have blown up.
that's right. She knew because he told her
Yes, before he
went.
blued.
Should have had a peon to claw game that out of there.
That's right.
A specialist.
But then we see back at the lab, Carl is there. They have beef jerky Carl
Yes.
in this vat.
Yes.
And he looks like he's just burnt to a crisp.
Anakin Sky Carl's on the table.
Right? Like he's like the stuff you scrape off the bottom of your oven when you clean it out.
Like
Like
a little bit burnt, Carl.
And they make
Or the
this
burnt
statement.
pieces of chicken on your grill.
They make this statement right here. At least he was wearing goggles.
His eyes are still there.
good.
It's so funny because they know in the costume they got to still be able to see his eyes.
He has his eyes.
But here's the jam.
His teeth were pretty good shape too.
He walks into this room where this furnace is heating up this crucible with the crane game for the ultimate stopper.
Crane game for your life.
And you open up the door and fire blast and everything. How did these goggles survive when the
Some
entire
high quality
suit
goggles.
and everything
And then
just
they
gone, Chris?
Throw that line in there to let everybody know the only reason his brain and eyeballs are salvageable, because obviously the rest of him is burnt to a crisp, is that thank God he had goggles
Well,
on.
he was facing the other way too, so it would have burnt the brain from the backside. It was ungoggled.
Look, I'm a gamer.
Well-
I've played a lot of games in my life, lots and lots of them. Actually, I'd feel pretty confident if somebody was to say to me, "You got to play a game to save your life." But then if I got there and I found out it was the claw game, I would just be like, "I think it's been a good long life."
Yeah, I'm gonna take off the goggles. They cannot
take
use
the
me to make
goggles
no Vindicator.
You're not gonna.
It's not happening.
My eyes are getting burnt.
I'm burning the eyes.
I can confidently say I would not win a claw game to literally save my own
No.
life. It's just
Yeah.
not happening.
No, but you would pump all $8 bills into it to try.
I sure would. I'd need at least a 3-prong claw, though. At least a 3.
Yeah, you need 3.
Yeah, at least they give you that at the claw game. He only had 2. He had no
2.
chance.
No chance.
And so they're here with his burnt up corpse in a vat. And this idiot scientist, like we were saying before, is like, all right, hear me out here. What if, stay with me. What if we just took his brain and put it in an indestructible machine body that was incredibly strong and unstoppable? All I needed at this point was the freeze frame high five from them. Like that's basically.
That's all. That was all that was missing.
Then
from
the
that.
end of the Mentos commercial.
With a really nice gold exosuit
They're
on.
all in.
Yeah, man, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
But they look so stupid because it's like, we are keeping the brain alive in this solution. They call it white blood.
Yeah, white blood. And that was from some Asian country
I
too.
heard
I
about
think
that.
Japanese.
It's from Japan.
Yeah.
That's the stuff.
White blood.
Because in the 80s, if you said it was from Japan,
It was
everyone
good.
assumed it was
Yes.
the best.
That's right.
I've heard of that solution.
That's exactly it.
Where is this made? America? Oh no, we
that's
don't want that.
Sony blood.
Yeah,
we want that.
Sony blood.
The RCA? No, we don't want any of that. We want the Sony blood.
They're going to put him in this indestructible metal body. Cool. All right.
well,
Yep,
sounds-
We
let's
can
do
make
it.
a better human. I was thinking to myself. Yep.
Meanwhile, Bert takes Lauren home.
Yes.
By the way, Carl was kidding about letting you have his family. He gets there to the house, and the place is trashed. The apartment
Absolutely.
totally.
Why was it
completely
trashed?
We don't know. They're looking for the things, Charles.
What things?
The secret thing.
thing.
Research.
The science research.
Yeah, that wasn't explained why they needed to trash his house.
Well,
and
they
who did
they
it.
actually did say it like immediately after that scene. They go through 2 things on that. All right, at the end of this scene, afterwards when they're leaving, the car that the guys who did it get into says the name of the lab.
It does.
it does.
Yeah.
It's like really
Real
We're gonna go do some
incognito.
incognito stuff here with the name on the side of the car. But they literally say it's like, yeah, we got in there, we stole his research because they needed to know what he was doing.
Oh.
making
Still in
these
their
silicone
work
chips.
uniform.
Gotcha.
So we stole it and we made it look like a robbery so that.
But didn't he work for them? Would they have access to his research? He worked in a
think.
nice big
You would
sciencey
think.
building with lots of science
And computers.
No one knows
computers.
anything. No one knows
So
anything.
He's espionaging on his own company.
Beardo walked in earlier. He was like, "What do you got? An angry monkey? What's going on in here?" Like nobody knows anything that's going on in this place, and nothing.
But they walked into this robbery scene.
Yeah.
And they walk across and she's distraught and everything. She's like, oh my God, look. And I was like, oh, let's pick up the Casio.
That's right.
We got to straighten up the Casio real quick.
Well, we learned that she plays a lot of music later. But I
does.
did think that was odd.
They have a synthesizer with Bluetooth speakers in 1986.
She did have a nice 80s Audi.
Yeah, that's true. That's
And
true.
my first thought was, oh, the fat guy's going to die.
The Audi 5000.
I misjudged that,
Bert.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Catherine, this is the first time we see Catherine. Catherine comes in because there's this whole like someone's watching them from outside, but it's just Catherine.
Yeah.
He answers the door and Catherine's here. We never know who the hell Catherine is.
No,
She's like
Her
just
friend
a
came to stay
person
with
that
her.
lives
whatever.
there.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
Came to stay with her.
Oh, you
because
think
of
so?
the-
I thought
Did
they
they
were
say
more than
that? Did they say it?
They did.
Yeah, there was a point-
She came to stay with a while.
Okay, fine. She's
There-
there to stay with her friend and who's distraught.
I'm just going to admit right now, I did fall asleep.
At what point?
About here, a little bit after.
Did you see the rest of the movie?
Well, I slept for a good 20, 30 minutes, and I woke
Rewound it
up,
for 10.
and I told my daughter, I said, Millie, I fell asleep. What happened? And then she's like, well, a lot of stuff. And so I rewound it. She's like, you fell asleep that long ago? I'm like, yeah.
No, God. Wow.
She should have just lied to you and gave you some points from a way better movie.
Yeah, I did miss a few things, I think, because I slept through some.
Yeah, then the T-800 came in, and
We go back to the lab, and this is they're getting the final touches put on him here, and
Project Frankenstein.
also. The one sign is like, also, I figured it was a totally chill decision to put that rage response monkey thing you were working on into
that
this.
seemed like a good
thing.
idea.
I mean, I thought that was totally fine, right? I mean, it's all
Yeah.
cool because I've got the remote
Yeah.
control, and
Got
you
the
know,
remote control.
remote controls never get lost, ever.
No.
Right? That's one thing we all know about them.
Well, my
Batteries
question
lasted them
is,
forever.
in '86, I don't think they had remote. Weren't they still wired remotes? Most of them.
Most of them.
Is he gonna follow him around with a wire?
we had
make
a
sure he.
infrared
got our first cable box in '86. It had the wireless remote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Big,
but
one of
from how
those big
far?
clunky ones with the big buttons on it.
Yes.
Like clunk. Okay, anger mode.
clicker.
Clunk, anger
Yeah.
mode off.
They got him in this golden spacesuit.
Yeah, what was this?
He looks
suit?
good.
The suit was worthless, by the way, but it looked cool.
He looks
Those
good.
those suits were 1.2 million.
Yeah,
That suit was
That's
the
great.
same exact size and everything as the one that Ace Hunter wore, and they filled it out exactly as full.
You're right. It's another gold
It's
jumpsuit.
another gold jumpsuit
Yeah,
that was
man.
completely wrinkly and overbig.
Did
Barry
it say
Bostwick watched
NASA on
this a
it?
couple years later and was pissed off. It's yeah. Why did it say NASA?
Because they
on
were
the
going to
oh,
Mars.
going
It was
to
a
Mars.
Mars
It's a
suit.
Mars suit.
They did
They were
explain
trying
that.
to build this for the Mars.
I do remember the Mars thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Well, they try to wake him up. They pull like a USB into his brain and all this other stuff, and then they're like, "All right, should we turn him on?" And they try to turn him on. He's on the table. Nothing happens. They're like, "No, guess we
Guess
screwed
what?
up."
You screwed up again, Gale.
They called ITs like, "Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?"
Ryan Madelo was like, "I don't know, blow on it."
Control Alt Delete. No, that didn't work. I don't know. Can't help you then.
And so they think they're going to scrap the project. Now Gail is left in the room by herself with this thing, and we get the Jason Voorhees moment, right, where he
Yeah.
just sits up in the gold suit.
Not until after she removes the rage response remote.
Yes.
To
That's
see if
important.
that's
Yes.
the problem.
Yep.
She takes off the inhibitor, basically,
And
right?
then there was that little spark
Yeah.
that you
Oh,
knew then,
oh,
there's
no.
something's going to happen.
It's
There's a
in
little
trouble.
spark.
She's
when
trying to
she
work
sits
on
up.
it. He sits up, and because she can't come near him because it'll kill her.
Yeah.
He ends up falling back and accidentally releasing all of the monkeys.
the monkeys.
The
No,
scientist, she did that.
She did
She
that.
did that. I mean, she
Yeah.
flies
Her lab
back
coat
to
hit
get
the
away
switches.
from him.
Which were not placed very well.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, it could have. I feel like somebody could trip and fall and let all the monkeys out.
On
very,
accident.
very
Yeah.
accident.
Really angry monkeys.
Right.
Yeah, they saw what happened to their buddy
Yeah,
in the
they
beginning.
Oh,
there.
the monkeys were like, finally.
They were all over her.
Get a chance to get Gail. The last thing I'd piss off is a chimpanzee. You know those things can do to
Yes.
people?
No,
I've
they'll
heard
rip your
stories.
arm off and hit you with it.
That's what
I
I'm
was
saying.
I was discussing this movie with my family over dinner just a few minutes ago.
Wonderful.
And I said we were talking about chimpanzees because Millie watched this.
My wife
She was
and daughter
watching the movie
laughed.
at that part.
Perfect.
And I was asleep, but she was watching it. And I said, yeah, every once in a while you hear stories about chimpanzees eating or killing their owners. So it's pretty violent
Literally
creatures.
eating their faces off, and it's just terrible.
You're like not supposed
Yeah.
to smile at, or no, don't show them
no
your teeth or something.
This
Yeah.
chimps can turn you into a hashtag faster than just about.
Yeah, and then there was an interesting dinner conversation where apparently one of my kid's teachers fought off a chimpanzee when he was like 1 year old.
Yeah, when they're up to a certain age,
Yeah.
you can fight one
Yeah.
off, and then it
Yeah.
gets to a point where they doesn't matter; they're going to kill you.
So
That's why a lot of these monkeys you see in movies and stuff are usually younger chimps.
these are important things to impart to your children as you're eating dinner.
Yeah,
is
that's
talking about the Vindicator and monkey fighting and
So the monkeys absolutely kill and destroy Gale because they've waited for this
Yes.
moment for however
They've
long
been
they've been
waiting.
there.
They high five the Vindicator dude on the way out.
Carl escapes to the roof. In the meantime, these security guards run in the room and they're like, finally, we get to shoot something. And they pull their guns and blow all these monkeys away that
Kill all the
are
monkeys.
beating up Gale or eating
Yeah,
Gale.
the one security guard doing the brotato chimp on his face.
That's right, jump down on him. And the guy felt confident enough to pull the trigger.
seriously,
to
I
shoot
thought
the
for sure he
monkey.
killed the guard, but
Well, I
no,
mean,
the guy
wouldn't
got
that
up
be-
and he's like brushed himself off, putting
Wouldn't
These
that
guys
still
weren't
be better
face
than?
cut.
Oh gosh, guys, if I'm ever getting my face eaten by a chimp, shoot me immediately.
Yes, absolutely.
Shoot the chimp and me, whatever. If that's the shot, take it.
No way, dude. They can make you a better human. They stick some stuff in your brains.
Perfect.
Put a nice gold suit on you.
They'll plug your brain into something, put a rage
Wonderful.
You don't want to be
controller
cyborg
on
guy?
your belt. And
No, but when I do escape, when I'm in my cyborg suit, I'm going to go in the laundry truck or a mail truck, and I'm not going to go in the garbage truck.
Yes.
Right, because that messes up your gold suit, son.
it does mess up the cold suit.
He goes
big
off
time.
the roof and jumps into a garbage truck. This is how Carl's going to get away from the lab. And the garbage truck, this is why it's not as good as those other options, takes him straight to an incinerator.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yeah, it was
dumps
very
him
quick.
in an incinerator.
However, it does never do the hydraulic crushy crush. So
No.
that was plus.
Yeah.
I'd imagine if it had, he would have been able to stop it,
Yeah, he would have broke it.
for sure.
Shut off all the trash.
But all we really learned from I thought that too, actually.
Might as well, they're ripping off everything else.
Well, what we learned about that was the gold suit is not flame resistant.
No, but Carl is.
Carl is. His
Carl is.
underbody suit's pretty good, but
Including
the
his
gold,
eyes, apparently.
Well, and that's
Yeah,
the point
yeah.
of the gold foil NASA uses all over everything is heat resistance. That's the
Yeah,
best part of it. That's what it's for.
Except when you're in an incinerator.
Except
Are these
for
incinerators like this? I mean, that thing had fire shooting out the front door of the
Yeah, and he
the
comes
door's
to the
supposed
door.
to be closed.
It
Okay.
falls. That was a
His
good
rage-
picture, right? It falls down, and he's standing there, flames coming
His
out.
rage response
Yeah.
pops the door off.
I'm going to try and give some kudos when I can to these movies, okay? So, like, the suit was done by Stan Winston. That's the guy that made Predator and Aliens, all these other
The
awesome...
suit underneath the gold was cool.
Yeah,
It was
so,
a
like,
cool suit.
The suit was great. And some of these shots were legitimately good. Him coming out of the incinerator
Yeah.
looked
That was a good shot.
awesome. Great shot.
Yeah, too bad it didn't go anywhere.
And that,
but it was,
no, but like some of it was like, that's a really cool scene.
that was a cool scene. Yeah.
Right? And yeah, so now he's all black and burnt up, still inside of his suit, but he looks like even more monstrous
Yeah.
than before. He just looked like a spaceman, right?
Yeah.
And now he's really the Vindicator. Again, we don't know what that means.
I was kept
No
thinking,
idea.
what's he vindicating? I kept thinking, what's happening? When's the vindication
know.
going to come?
I never.
The monkeys, when you let them out of when he got away and they got let out of the cage, that's the
And then
vindication.
got shot in the
there.
face.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude's got roasted like a burnt marshmallow up in that incinerator, and he comes out of it like, "Brrr." And the scientists are just realizing, like, was this a bad idea? They're standing around, right? Like, you didn't low jack him? Like, they're starting to panic and trying to figure out where he is.
Casually around the water cooler. Was this a bad idea?
Are we the bad
We can
guys?
control him, though. We can still control him. We just got to get the remote back.
We just got to find him before he encounters any people, because if somebody touches him, it's going to turn him into
Yeah.
a raging, killing machine.
Right. And so
We need
Alex
that.
is like, this is not good. I might have screwed up here. And they send the guys off in whatever directions to try and go track this guy
Find
down.
him.
Find him. And they're like, maybe he went to his house, right? We don't know. Carl, meanwhile, is having an existential crisis at a spirit Halloween, which
basically, yeah,
who
costume
hasn't,
shop.
who hasn't
Yeah,
been,
been there.
been there before, right? For sure.
I remember when the store used to be a Sears.
He sees himself kind of for the first time and there's all these other horror apparitions and
That was very French.
thing in
That
there.
felt
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
He gets out and he starts kind of, bumbling down the street, lumbering down the street.
Yes.
And this biker gang, which looked like the scariest biker
Oh,
gang
man.
I've ever seen
Yeah.
before.
When did you see a biker gang roll up on motocross bikes wearing helmets?
You ever seen a tougher group?
They look hardcore. But they stuck these probes into his brain. This goes back to your, like, how do these people know how to use equipment they've never used before? He immediately knows how to operate this machine. It's not his body.
No.
This
Right.
machine human. He knows how to work this thing like aces right off the hit. Because, he's walking and kind of lumbering, but dude's walking.
No, he is. And you're right. It's just his head, basically, right?
And I do know that this is how biker gangs actually are.
Is it?
They literally, they ride 2.5 miles an hour down the
Yeah,
street.
they were like gonna fall over.
Slower than walking speed, so they
Right.
can stay behind somebody and basically reverse catcall at him.
in a town that really looks like it has a biker gang.
Coming right off the track from Nationals, just rolling down the street 2 miles an hour.
They're like, these guys clearly got bored of like throwing stuff off a bridge or cow tipping
Yes.
or whatever else that they were doing.
They were going incredibly slow.
The bars close at 10:30 up here.
Oh yeah, so you know what? That's a boot. And so they're like looking for someone to mess with, literally, and that's like what their dialogue is saying. and they corner Carl in the alleyway, who's trying to hide but can't.
Yeah, he's just trying to stay out of it because he's still Carl.
And he knows if someone touches him that he's going to kill him, and so of course it happens.
How did Carl know that?
He didn't know that yet.
Didn't he? I thought
this is where he
she
finds out.
told him in the lab when she backed off
She
from
did
the
say,
monkeys.
you can't touch me or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so when they do, I mean, the purpose of the scene is for the audience to see what happens when someone touches them. That's the bikers are fodder for that reason.
Yes. Yep.
And so the bikers get close enough to touch him, and he kills all of them in a second. He whips the one guy against the pole and breaks his back. He hands him steel the one guy.
He Paco'd a guy.
Except what was really amazing about his ability to do that is he didn't actually damage the helmet, yet he was able to crush the head within.
It's incredible. It's like the dim mock in Bloodsport where he breaks the bricks underneath the bricks.
And he pulls the helmet off the kid's broken head and he says, "Please don't hurt me."
And then he dies.
And then he dies.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No,
I'm a monster. I'm Frankenstein.
I'm
88.
Frankenstein."
Because maybe in 2 years, that's what they thought the world would be capable of.
Oh my gosh. All right. So
Is he technically a cyborg?
I think so, because Cyborg is metal and flesh together.
Something like that.
So I think so.
All right. I think he's wearing the same goggles he had at the fire thing.
Well, for sure.
They were melted to his skin.
And his skin underneath, his skin is perfectly preserved.
Yes.
Like, so his
Not even tanned or nothing.
nothing, perfectly preserved underneath that. Just here is like under his eyeball or around his eyeballs is perfectly still looks like Carl. Everything else.
Those are some amazing safety goggles.
Those are the best.
Those were the best ones ever.
Seriously.
Wear your
those to
safety
the
goggles,
beach.
people.
$4.1 million worth of the budget went to the safety goggles to save Carl's eyes.
The rest of you could die, but your eyeballs will be
Your
fine.
eyeballs, you can look up from your
right.
coffin and everybody.
So we go back to Carl's house momentarily. Again, Catherine is there. We don't care. Carl is outside and he talks to Lauren through the synthesizer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Speakers.
Lauren, I am Carl and I am still alive.
Pretty good.
This is some type of a sick joke.
I need Bert.
I need Bert.
Right? How does he? First of all, that's why I joked they have Bluetooth speakers. I'm like, how exactly is he talking through the synthesizer?
He's a
ground wire.
cyborg.
Yeah, it was
Ground wire.
It was. They made
we got to
point-
fix that
yep.
bad ground wire.
Oh my gosh!
They made that point earlier in the movie when they were trying
Ground
to make
wire.
twins.
When they were trying to make twins.
Oh, that's right.
And then they heard the people
they
talking
laid that
outside.
track just for this scene.
They
Yep.
did. Yeah, because they were listening to those
Yep.
people
They did.
talk or something.
They
Whatever.
did do a job of trying to
Stop
play
being
off this
competent.
stuff. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, that actually paid off. All right, cool. Next.
Yeah, he said, I need Bert. And I'm sure Lauren's like typical, like, hi, sorry, I'm dead. Nice to see you. No, like, get me Bert immediately, right? Doesn't want her to see him for obvious reasons.
Carl, you're
So
alive.
we get this guy. It's a small scene, but I think it's funny enough to mention. We go back to Evil Research Lab, and there's Alex in his office, and Alex's secretary comes in, and she's all like, I heard about the bikers. Why would Carl kill those kids? And he just smacks her.
Yes.
Yes, it's the 80s.
What was that about?
I thought the same thing.
Bob. You know, that's what I thought. Right there. I played the music and said Bob.
And she immediately was like, how dare, and like reacts. He goes, you see, now you have a rage response inside of you. And then your brain took over and stopped it. And see, he doesn't have one. He gets all sciencey.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could have just explained it to her. You didn't have to smack her.
I think he's been wanting to smack her in the face for quite some
You're right.
time.
Like, see, the remote that controls this rage response is right here on my desk.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. But
So-
it's not plugged into him. And so we can't use it to stop the rage response. And then Sharon goes, why would you take such a risk? And I just wanted Alex to be like, because I'm an idiot, Sharon.
What does he say?
Nothing.
He doesn't say like risk reward or something,
Something
like
like
that.
that.
And he's like, if I can just get this in him, I can control him or something like
And
that.
this-
I would go to IMDb to find that, but
There's only
like
a few quotes on there.
4 quotes. So
Yeah, and so this is when he says, "Call Hunter. Hunter's the only one that can take care of this." Right.
Right.
And we get the intro. The intro to Hunter, which is Pam Grier, is very short. It's her beating up someone with a stick, some ninja master.
Yeah.
They want to show her beating her teacher up to be like, oh, she's really tough because she beat up her teacher, and she's on the job to track down Carl. Right.
Yes.
That's Hunter, and. There's I'm going to skip a couple scenes here because there's like this thing with the kid in the junkyard who's a starfighter.
that was awesome.
Right.
I like
And-
that.
but it didn't.
Endearing.
All it was
didn't
is
do nothing.
oh,
Yeah, it
there's a
was
tunnel
right.
over here. Okay, we never see him.
It reminded
again.
me of
Right.
Iron Giant,
Cool.
which is an amazing movie, by the way.
That's a good. Yeah, go see that.
That
Instead
is
of
a
this.
great
Yes.
movie.
for sure. But he just basically this kid shows he's like, don't touch me, I'm dangerous. He shows him how to get into the sewers or wherever he's got to.
Pulls up the car and
Pulls up a
tips
car,
it over, and
all
it's like, wow.
The bad scientists, meanwhile, are still trying to convince Lauren that he's dead, and they're literally showing her the video of Carl's explosion and his death.
Yes.
With security camera footage, which is also the same camera angles of the movie,
Right.
Which is the same mistake they made in Batman and Robin. Always kills me. They just the security footage caught them, and it's the same freaking shots.
Yeah.
Like they had a security camera right up over his shoulder
while
he's working on.
Yeah, and you see the guy dumping the mesquite chips in there with Carl. It's
ridiculous.
Make a little Carl jerky.
Well, Spaceballs, they're like, I know they played a joke in Spaceballs. It would be a lot cheaper if we just reused our own footage.
All right, then out of nowhere, it cuts to Beardo's house, and he's doing a line of
He's
coke.
doing a line of coke, man.
That was not supposed to go in the cut. I think that was behind
Yeah,
the
that
scenes
was him.
footage
Yeah.
that they weren't supposed to use.
He's like the second in command. He's like, Alex is the evil scientist, and he's like the next evil scientist, right? And so he's there with some girl who he's supposed to have sex with, but he throws her out before it happens.
Well, he said I think
or
he
before
had
it happens
sex
again.
before. Yeah, he
right?
said he wasn't very good at it.
And she goes to grab money off the counter, and he's like, "What are you, some kind of hooker?" She's like, "I need cab fare." I mean, he's just
You can
it's one
ride
of
the bus.
One of the douchiest scenes of all time. This poor girl.
Right.
She first of all, he kicks her out, calls her a hooker, doesn't give her cab fare. She tries to get out of the house. The guards stop her. I think something's going to happen to her there.
Right.
But he lets her go.
Let her go. She's not very good anyway.
Insults her lovemaking ability. Then she has to stand out on the curb and watch more horrible things that are
Yes.
about to happen.
Do
Yes.
we not find it odd that he has guards to stop whores from leaving his house? Like, there's a.
Oh, I didn't think about it like that.
There's a
There's a
certain
signal.
point of this. It's like, wait, he's got guards to stop women from leaving
Wait, they
his
stopped
house.
her immediately, too.
Right.
Like it was their job. You're
Yeah,
right.
like, no, walking out this door is not acceptable. You
No.
cannot leave.
Conveniently, he bought a house on a bus stop.
She's like, I'm going to the bus stop, walks 2 feet to the right.
Well, that's maybe why he's like, use the bus. Maybe it's not as callous as
Up
it
in
sounds
Canada.
like. It's like, up here in Canada, our bus lines are really efficient. You can get home easy.
Public transport is wonderful up there.
Yay.
Oh, my gosh.
You hoser?
He's like, get out of
Use
here.
the bus.
I just want to stare at this 10-foot picture of a woman in a thong on my wall.
Yeah, what was that all about? I'm like, what is he, 12? He's like, maybe 13, 14. But
it's
yeah,
the whole
huge.
wall.
Yeah.
Every room he had some sort of scantily clad or bust showing.
I feel like that's a red flag.
Yeah.
You know, if you're
Well,
a girl
he's-
that comes over to his house.
I just put something together. There's something that was weird about all the houses to me. They all had entry rooms. And
They
now
did.
I know that's
Yeah.
because they live in Canada. It's cold and you need places to put your shoes and
That's
things.
exactly
Yes,
it.
you
The
don't see
mudroom
that very
at the
often
beginning. That's true.
in movies and Hollywood movies.
It's true.
The Frenchmen probably really love that. It's like, oh, the entry room is great.
Oh, that's
Let's
right.
use it.
Yeah,
Shoot,
that's
only in
interesting.
We
Canadian
use
houses.
that. We
How
use
many
the two
doors do they have to go?
Yes, how many doors?
At least 2.
More doors are a good metaphor for
All
something.
right. So Carl shows up at the house. Carl is here to vindicate all over Beardo. And it's just like
We might as well just use that word however we'd like because it's as good as any other.
Right.
he's up there. Beardo gets a gun out of somewhere. He's trying to I mean, it's ridiculous because the gun's not going to do anything.
Yeah, because
Stay back, Carl.
There's a little bit of a cat and mouse thing happening upstairs.
Beardo's high as a kite at this point. He's not thinking.
But he's literally just saying, help me. I need to know how to turn off this ranger
Right.
spawn. I need to know how
Right.
to fix it. And he's like, don't come near me. Don't come near me. And instead
Tries
of
to
just
shoot
like
him.
explaining to him why you can't come near him, he just shoots at him. Like,
Right.
you're
Yeah.
a scientist.
Eventually, Carl gets around behind the other side of the wall and reaches through the wall,
Yeah.
pulls him through the drywall.
That was pretty good, yeah.
And then yeets him out the window onto his car, right by the bus stop where this poor girl is still
His
standing.
guards are in the car. Just Beardo's
through.
face
How'd they
right
miss
through the
him coming
windshield.
in?
Look, and this is the first moment where I was like, oh, they ripped off RoboCop here because there's a famous scene in RoboCop where he punches through the drywall and grabs a guy and rips him through the wall. You remember?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, man, they're really going after the Terminator RoboCop thing. And then I saw, hold on, RoboCop might have ripped off Vindicator.
Right.
I doubt they probably saw it or thought about it, but it's,
Maybe they were on the same studio line.
I don't know. But they did it. Vindicator did it first.
They had the same editors and the.
Yeah, I had
know-
a note here. It's really dumb to shoot the guy you know has rage violence.
It's true.
Like anything would have been better than
Wait,
that option.
you run on that monkey program?
Yeah, but he knows. He saw the monkey go
see,
nuts.
Your monkey program 2.0.
Right.
Just-
Larger prime.
Well, he was high on coke.
I felt bad for thinking they were ripping people off, but they really weren't. A lot, I mean, in some ways, I guess. But if he had walked in there and been like, dead or alive, you're coming with me, then I really would have been known that RoboCop had ripped them off for sure.
He comes in with a Desert Eagle 50 cal.
So
Wait a minute.
So I said I fell asleep. I know I was asleep through all this.
Yeah.
And this is about when I woke up because I wrote in my notes, what's the guy doing in the sewer? and that's when I rewound it. And then I felt kind of like, I mean, my daughter's going into high school, so she's not super young. But, we don't watch a lot of stuff with naked breasts and cocaine. And I'm like, my daughter has been watching this whole thing.
Yeah.
I had no clue this was happening in this movie.
There were barely breasts. So,
I'm like, that's when I'm like, oh, I better rewind this movie because my question was, why are they in the sewer? What happened? I think I fell asleep actually when the little boy was there, and then he's in the sewer, and I'm like, I just totally missed it.
The wife earlier on, her scene is a lot better
for sure. At this point, Hunter shows up at the scene where
saw that too.
where Beardo had been dispatched, right? And Pam Grier is there, and this is so stupid. She looks at this open manhole. I think he's in the sewer.
Yeah.
Great, Hunter. I see why you hired her.
Yeah.
well
Didn't he lift the car? He lifts the
lifted
car.
but he lifted it out initially in the car but he put it back
Right.
Yeah.
and then moved down one and came up through there and put it back. But then when he went left again, why
didn't he put it
why
back?
didn't he just put the damn thing back?
I don't know. They just left it open. So
Like some guy's gonna be riding his bicycle in the morning for exercise. He's gonna drop a front wheel in there, pop a tire,
gosh,
go
that'd
over
be
to
terrible.
handlebars. Like
He's
this.
rage violent against that manhole cover.
awful. And then Pam Grier goes in the back seat of this car and it's talking to this poor girl. And then she kills her.
Yeah, that was pretty nasty. That long spike right through.
This
the
girl,
neck.
after all she went through at Beardo's house, just gets a needle through the neck.
Waiting for the
She
boss.
has the information. She
sees
sees it.
Beardo get thrown through a car.
She's trying to leave.
Right.
Just wants to go home.
She didn't even get cab fare.
Plus, she's got to pay her own way home.
All right, so they realize
Murdered by a thin needle.
he's in the sewer, and they're going to start the sewer assault. They've got this whole sewer assault planned. And he's like, what are we going to do? Guns don't work. And she goes, well, we just invented these vaporized acid guns yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, good timing.
This was the other part when I woke up. And I'm like, is that supposed to be a flamethrower? And then I'm like,
You know what I thought?
I rewound it. And then I'm like, oh, it's acid throwers.
I thought Ghostbusters here.
Yes, I did too. It looked totally like that.
Firing those things. Don't cross the streams.
It's funny you bring that up too. I was always thinking Alex was the main
bad guy.
Yeah.
I was like, he is the guy who is training to be Egon's stunt double for
Yeah.
everything ever.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they've got these little packs on their back where they hold the acid. And James Pulley, who wrote in for the awards on this, asked a great question. He goes, so how come the acid can dissolve Vindicator but not the guns that they're in?
Right.
Like, how does that work exactly?
There's plot armor and
Plastic.
It's
barrels
like,
of the
how
gun.
exactly does the acid in my stomach dissolve food but not me?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Well,
amazing.
again, it's the
Science.
plastics can handle acid.
right.
They explain it in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go in and these sewers, she's got like 6 or 7 mercenaries with her, Pam Grier does. And they all split up into different teams and they can't really find him. It's kind of a boring scene. And then
What scene wasn't boring in this movie?
eventually she sniffs him out on her own, right? Like she somehow knows. Take a step out, spaceman.
It's like, I smell space, man.
That's right. Spaceman Carl steps out and they,
She smelled charred gold. Smelled charred gold.
she fires what looked like cartoon orange juice
Right.
out of the gun.
I saw that in my
Loaded with high
stupor.
C.
My stupor. Yeah.
Sunny D. Don't cross the stream.
That's what it was,
They
a Sunny
can't
D
mix.
gun.
Because they look like flamethrowers. They even had like a little igniter. And I'm like, was it just really bad CI? I'm groggy from my nap. I'm like, what? What's that? Why is it so pink? Or not pink? Why is it so orange? Is it supposed to be fire?
No, it's Sunny D. Yeah. The other guns shoot the purple stuff, but this shoots Sunny D.
Tang in
Did
there.
it do
It's what
anything?
astronauts drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a spaceman.
Did it hurt him at all? I don't remember.
No.
Yes,
No.
it did. That's what
That's what
erupted up his port.
It erupted his port with
Yeah.
his white blood started.
Well, that's
leaking
right,
out.
they
Like,
said-
aim for the port.
Aim for the port,
Yeah.
which I thought they were aiming for his junk. They used to aim for his junk.
I thought they were talking about the port where the rage thing goes.
Yeah.
Regardless, within about a second and a half, Vindicator turns the turns the whole sewer into a flame pipe from Judge Dredd, right? He just pulls this thing down, and of course they didn't know you're supposed to run towards the fire in the flame pipe, and like Judge Dredd.
So you could run by it.
So they run away from it, and
it catches them.
Up
they all
and
get
burns them
blowed up.
Yeah, except for Pam Grier and a couple.
I don't think there was enough gas coming out of that pipe.
Hunter.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. But
because even after, there's still a lot of flame coming out.
Yeah. Well, there was some mercenary jerky there too. Then.
And didn't they meet some like normal worker guy in there? And
They did.
Like,
They did.
hey.
But again, it went nowhere. It meant nothing. So
He's like, "Oh, okay, rats, I'm out of here."
I'm out of here.
I did enjoy the part where it's like, I hear him too, and then it's like they're staring at each other, like,
there's a couple of those scenes. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. How long are we going to do this for?
Yeah.
Right. Hunter is pissed off when the plan doesn't work. And so she goes to the Evil Research Center and punches the first security guard she sees in the face.
She drives through the fake gate, too. She busts it all apart.
The other two security guards run up like, hey.
Those security guards were the best part of the movie.
They chase her into they bust into the office after she does. The monkey shooters got excited. Hunter is basically like pissed at Alex because she didn't feel like she had all the intel she needed to take this guy. Like, you got to tell me everything about this guy because the acid guns didn't work. None of this worked. And if we're gonna do this, I need to know what he's fully capable of, right? Because I've never lost to a man before.
Inside that suit is a man, and I've never lost to a man.
That's right. He may be indestructible.
Feminist. I like it. She's a strong woman.
That's right.
But we missed Darth Vader head part.
Darth Vader.
Isn't that before this?
He opened his head.
He's in the sewer, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a monster. It's horrible," and he pulls his head off.
Yeah, but when we get to the church is when you really get the reveal for that. So yeah, no worries. So she basically redoubles her efforts and vows that she's going to defeat Carl because he's a man.
Yep.
Lauren then goes to the church to meet Carl. So Lauren somehow set up a meet me at the church.
Oh, he spoke to her, didn't he?
He spoke to her again a second time through the. It
was like on tape though. She had to play it.
Yeah,
she had to play it faster.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Right. She goes to the church. He's up on the balcony about, I need to see Bert again, right?
Yeah, he likes Bert.
He's like, just
Bert's his buddy.
Don't look at me. Go get Bert. But she is snuck upstairs now and is right behind him. And he's not happy because he does not want her to see
or touch him.
Or touch him because he's worried about hurting her, right?
Yeah.
And so finally she's up there and she's just like, let me see your face. And he pulls off the mask. And it's literally, you see his brain is exposed.
Yeah.
There's skin where his goggles were and his teeth like his skull.
Basically Harvey's Two-Face.
Now,
everywhere but his eyeballs.
Am I incorrect? But it's hard to talk without skin on your face, isn't it?
Isn't
that
think.
Part of the process?
But it's all synthesized when he speaks, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? So I don't know if it's.
Well, and here's the other thing too. I don't know if it was before this point or after this point, but he said that he feels nothing.
Yeah.
Yet, and my wife brought this up. He's like trying to protect people. If he feels nothing, then why is he care about Lauren so much?
Feelings or physical?
Emotional feelings.
Yeah, I don't know because this
touch.
is where. Do you have the line where this is when he freaks out and says, "I'm a machine."
I'm a machine. I don't know. It's probably in here somewhere. Oh yeah, it's on. Yeah. That is one.
Yeah.
Like, how can you love this?
God damn it. I'm not Carl. I don't know who I am. I'm a machine. I can't feel. I can't touch. I'm not human.
Right. This is him yelling this at his wife. Right. But she is still like, I love you.
I love you.
It's okay. Even after she sees his face, she's still like, all right,
better
cool.
for worse.
Right.
That's kind of worse, but nonetheless.
And so he yeets himself off the balcony.
Through
and
the floor.
Breaks he's like, sorry about your church. breaks through the floor.
I think it was a stage, actually. I was concerned.
Right.
I was surprised it wasn't more of a basement. So it must have been a stage.
Must have been a stage.
Yeah.
And he runs out of there. And again, he needs Bert. He needs the secret data. He needs Bert to get the secret data.
Did they do that really elaborate, like, her friend, who we don't really know who she is, like pretended to be her and drove all the way around?
Yeah, just to get out of the house. Yeah, I got to skip some stuff, Charles.
I like the Volkswagen Rabbit.
Here all day
I like the Rabbit, so I was stuck on the car.
Gotcha.
It's a cabrio.
Yeah.
Oh, cabrio. Okay.
But
Was it?
Yeah.
That was nice.
I've once ever watched a movie and gone.
There were so many good
Volkswagen.
80s cars in there. Because, like,
I think my sister-in-law.
So when we started driving, I could afford 80s cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a part for me.
we have students right now that are buying 80s cars. That like literally we have a couple of them that have like
my
80s trucks. Your son's
There's one sitting in my driveway right now, not running.
Not running. What? That's an 80 what?
85, I think it is. 85 C10.
Well, I've been thinking about what to replace my beater car with when my son takes it to college, and I've been looking at 80s and 90s. I'm like, I could get myself a nice 80s Cadillac. Cruise
it
around
is funny
town.
that stuff is coming back around. Because I just did graduation. We drove through the parking lot, and there were no less than 4 like Porsche 944s in the parking lot. That wasn't even a popular car back in the day.
Right.
I'd love one of those. That'd be fun.
So Lauren does finally go to get Bert, and she's like, "Oh, Bert, I love you." She says, "I love you" to him. Help me. You're so great to help me.
She sends some mixed signals.
She does.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
And Bert's getting a little flustered by this, right? And he wants to help her. He wants to be a good guy and help his friend and help his wife. And, so he says, all right, I'll meet with him. And Bert does go to meet with Carl.
Yeah.
And he says, I got you the secret data. And also, Lauren gave me this letter to give to you.
I wrote in my notes, I said, don't do it, Bert. Don't try to win her by killing him.
Did you have an inkling of what was going to happen?
Yes.
I had no.
I totally saw that coming.
I thought Bert was on the up and up the whole time.
No, I saw it. As soon as he said, you can have my family if I'm gone, I'm like, uh-oh. It's going badly. Except the one part where I thought Bert might get killed at the first.
So they're in this weird building. I don't even know where this meeting is happening.
Warehouse.
Some warehouse somewhere. And he puts the letter on the ground. He's like, I know it's dangerous for you to come near me, so I'm going to lay the letter down here.
I mean, it works.
It does work fine.
And he placed it very specifically too. Just
so then he backs out of the way, or Bert backs out of the way. Carl walks up to pick up the letter, and
it's a trap.
It's a trap. Like
He falls in
somewhere. Admiral Akbar is screaming.
And he falls into some Jello. I'm like, there's Jello under the floor. I didn't put together he was working for the bad guys now.
Turn him into a Jello cube. He's caught in the middle of this gelatinous cube, and it's huge. It's like a 10-foot by 10-foot.
It's like, and that's the strawberries in your grandma's Jello that you bring to Christmas every year.
Right.
He's a banana in the green Jello.
Yes.
You know what movie stole that is the D&D movie. They have that gelatinous thing they go into in that movie.
Oh, there you go. I definitely think they watched Vindicator.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah, they did. They had to have.
The D&D guys are weird, so
When I'm bored with a movie, the funny things I think about is like at this point they've got him in the thing, and then this forklift driver comes up to take it away, and I'm always just thinking like, how'd they hire this forklift guy? Is he sitting there going, I get hired for the weirdest jobs?
Is he certified? Is is this just guy, hey man, can you operate a forklift? They take one of their cronies, like I think I can.
Yeah.
Right. Or used to run a forklift.
Or is this a guy that it does this
and I'm looking at
somebody?
that, I'm like, were there just a mold where you could put the forks into this block?
It was on a crate.
What kind of
it wasn't in a mold when he fell in it.
Truck have? I mean, that's
they
what I
filled
think about.
It in there after he fell in.
Worked in a plant. I drove forklifts. I'm like, what kind of counterweights did they put on this forklift? Because it didn't look like they were right.
Heavy.
No, it looks heavy.
That's a big supposed.
This is good. These are important things.
These are the things I think about.
Right.
Anyway, I'm like, hope this wasn't the lowest bidder you hired for this forklift job. This is an important
He
thing.
seemed competent.
Yeah.
He got his part done.
Is this the
They
part
didn't
where
strap it to the ground properly.
No.
Is this the part where Alex shows up and he's talking to Bert and he's like, "You did good here, Bert," but he says, "But by the way, your reports are late. I still have a company to run." I thought immediately of Office Space and the manager guy.
Yeah, we're putting the covers on the
reports. He's basically trying to.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, he's trying to ease Bert's conscience, right? He's like, he knows Bert probably feels bad about betraying his friend.
You got to go kill the girl. That's what.
But he does say you've got to get rid of Lauren.
Yes.
I mean, scientists are worse than the Sopranos. Like they're just like a mob.
I'm telling
basically.
you, this is Steve Jobs' buddies back in the 80s.
Hey, so hey Bert, thanks for getting rid of Carl. I'm gonna go ahead and need you to get rid of Lauren too, okay?
And if have to come in on Saturday and do that.
You could just go ahead and take care of that. That would be great.
Yeah, and then your reports.
And then get the reports.
Bert, you need to do your reports better.
Put the covers on your TPS reports. Do you like that new job I gave you, Bert?
Yeah, so we find out he's got a new job, a lot of money, and that he's kind of was part of this from the beginning. Yeah. And that's a little bit of a bummer. So,
yeah, Bert's got some issues.
So the truck is taking this gelatinous cube down the road.
Driving this cube van down the road.
Cube in a cube van. Box truck, basically.
Yeah, it's just a box truck.
Yeah.
with this gelatinous thing strapped down on rollers. Why did we need a forklift if it was on rollers? Okay.
It's hardened at this point.
Yeah,
it's a resin block.
Yeah, it's set up gelatinous. It's no longer gelatinous. It is now solidish. It's a jiggler now instead of regular Jell-O.
That's right.
And this thing comes loose from these anchors on the floor because they use baling twine.
Yeah, they just screwed them into plywood too. I noticed.
Yeah, screwed right into the floorboards. Like I don't.
So my question was he moving the block or was it moving because the truck was moving?
I don't know.
He was popping out because the rage response beep beep beeps were going.
Yeah. Right.
He was coming out.
The other thing that I was confused by is they're like, oh man, don't drive so rough. And I'm like, they don't look like.
But as soon as I saw those cables, I'm like, those aren't going to hold.
Yeah, those cables are coming off.
Yeah.
So now this thing is moving around in the back of the truck, and that would sway the car around a little bit. But this driver is so incompetent, never crosses his mind to stop.
I literally have
Step on the brake
right here,
and it becomes a whole lot less dangerous.
Right here, hit the brake.
Especially if you know you're driving a truck that was built by the same people that built all the trucks in the first American Ninja movie. Because this thing goes off of a guardrail into the water and explodes when it hits the K rail.
As soon as it hits the rail,
the thing just explodes.
Like it's anything and it explodes.
Listen, it doesn't just explode after it hits the guardrail. It gets 2 feet off and then it explodes after it's broken through.
I'm trying to justify this in my mind. Why I'm trying to give this movie any props.
Mid-air explosion.
I'm like, maybe it hit the fuel tanks on the rail and that exploded.
Yeah, diesel explodes just like that.
Oh, that's right, they're diesel. That wouldn't work.
Diesel's very explosive.
Yeah, there's no reason other than they needed an explosion.
I gotta hit this. I mean, that's one of the the exploding vehicle for no reason is one of the biggest tropes in those movies we've ever covered.
It was a cool fireball. I'm going to give them the effect on it. It was great. Fireball. They crashed the truck for real.
It had an altitude switch. If it drops altitude,
if this thing goes down 6.5 inches, it's going to blow up.
Maybe they put a speed regulator on it.
Oh, we went
and they
under
couldn't
55.
slow down. That's why he couldn't stop.
Speed ripped this off.
He's like, you got to get that thing to the factory quick, buddy, so you can't stop or it'll blow up till you get to a certain point in the building or something.
All these movies ripping off an indicator.
The GPS in there, they were tracking the trucks like he's off course.
Oh my gosh!
They're like, that French guy made a really good movie. We should copy all his French ideas.
I started thinking back to all the times that obviously, the American Ninja one. I remember the ambulance in Hudson Hawk that exploded out midair. It jumps midair, boom. You know, just it literally collides with air and it explodes.
One of the more what's the word? Not demoralizing. That's the one that comes to my mind, but it's not quite that severe. But was when Mythbusters did things like bullets won't explode cars. And how hard it is to actually blow up vehicles.
And it
was like
gas on fire.
My whole childhood and young adult was lied to about how explosive automobiles and crashes are.
And I'll give them a certain amount of leeway because there's movie rules and there's real life rules, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so guns blowing up cars I've learned to accept.
Yep.
Okay. Those are movie rule. But something like this where it's just midair exploding, I'm like, I can't just let you.
Why aren't you
going
to get them out of the red? It's got to melt somehow.
Why can't it explode when it hits the ground?
Yeah.
That's a movie rule. If it hits the ground,
sure.
I'll let you blow it up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not just going over the guardrail?
Got below 55 and dropped 6 inches of
Maybe Canadian guardrails have explosives in them. And to really discourage poor driving. Yeah.
But
you
again,
come off the edge, you're going to blow up, man.
They do it to encourage people to secure their loads so they're not swerving all over the road.
That's why they had it drilled into the floorboard, man.
Oh.
It comes back to literally the first thing I wrote down. Hit the brake.
Yeah. Just, hey, this thing is really moving around. I'm just going to stop.
Under duress,
F1. Stop.
I loved how every time it would hit a wall, like a panel would fling out.
Right.
They were like hinged or something. It was awesome.
All right. So Carl escapes the wreckage. He crawls out of the burning wreckage. The drivers, not so much. They were killed.
They were dead.
And this starts what is probably the weirdest and craziest scene in the entire movie. Yeah. Bert goes to Lauren's house to take care of. And I've got to detail this because it
gets weird.
This is nuts. Very weird. So I'll do my best to make sense of this. But basically, he shows up and at first he's being normal. He's like, "We got to get out of here."
Yeah.
You think maybe he's going to betray the scientist, right? You're like, "I'm supposed to take care of you," but
I think he might have been planning that.
He might have wanted to.
Maybe.
Yep. Yeah.
He's like, "We got to get out of here," but then in a moment of weakness, he says, be with me.
Be with me, yeah.
And she's straight
He
up
has
like,
a shot.
No.
He has a shot. If you wait till you get to second location, you know what I mean? And ease into it, you got a shot, my guy.
No, he shot way too quick.
Yeah.
Way too quick. So she's just like, no. But then he confesses. He makes it worse. He keeps going, I've always wanted you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he kind of lets it be known that he was part of this from the beginning. Yeah. And Lauren's like,
ew,
trying to find her gun.
Right.
You know what I mean? And she comes up, he grabs her by the face. She's trying to scream. He's dragging her across the room. He says, all right, stop screaming. Stop screaming. Yeah. She stops screaming. She breaks a vase over his head. The both of them demonstrate 5 times each in the scene how idiotic they are.
Yes.
Gets brained. She goes and gets the gun. Now she's pointing a gun at him and he starts to cry. Okay? Yeah. And then she walks up and she's like, oh, Bert, what happened?
I'm literally, at this point, the first time we're watching it, my wife is still in the room. Because I did watch this the second time.
Yeah.
But the first time, my wife is still there. And I'm like, why would you close range on somebody when you've got a gun? That's just the dumbest thing ever.
Right. I was like, shoot him. Shoot. She's an idiot. This is not going to end well for you.
Because she walks up, she's like, oh, Bert.
Yeah. If you want to talk to him for a while, that's fine.
Bert,
Do it from across the room.
You want that pity sex now, Bert? Aw.
And she walks up, of course, and so he knocks it out of her hand.
Knocks it out of her hand.
And I'm sitting there going, you idiot. Then he grabs her, and they have this horrible fall down the stairs.
And before that, he like,
rolls
don't
over,
fight me. I don't want to hurt your baby.
Yeah.
And then they go tumbling down the stairs.
And he rolls over the top of the, I'm assuming a stunt woman at this point, but like over the top of her while they're going down. Yeah. It looked horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, go ahead, you got something?
The exit is outside. The exit to outside is on the main level, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
She gets free of him and runs back up the goddamn stairs.
They always go up the stairs. That's a movie trope.
That's a trope.
That's a trope. They always go up.
I'm going to trap myself again upstairs.
It turned into an unintentionally hilarious moment because as she's trying to go upstairs, he grabs her legs, pulls her back down, and her chin hits every step on the way down. And it was so awkward. And I just, again, I'm like, you idiot. You're going up the stairs. What is wrong with you? And then he starts to choke her with the phone wire.
Yeah. Like, jeez, Bert.
See, that's why this new generation we live in is safer.
Yeah, I thought that too.
We do not have phone wires all over the place.
Yeah, a lot of people did get murdered by phone cords.
A lot.
And then he starts to make out with her
Night Stalker.
While he's choking her out.
While he's choking her out.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and then the roommate comes in.
And I'm like, Bert, 5 minutes ago, I liked you.
Yeah.
And then he just, and then, I'm like, okay, thank God Catherine's here. But Catherine walks in and she's like, this is fine.
Yeah.
If you guys wanted if you guys wanted some privacy, hang on.
And then she's going upstairs.
So like, okay, she's an idiot too. Bert is also idiotic because he knows now there's someone else in the house and he's like, this is still fine. Continues to try and make out with her and choke her.
Right.
Yeah.
And thank God Catherine finally is like, psych, I knew it was a bad thing.
Well, she walks upstairs and probably saw that the upstairs was destroyed. And there's a gun laying on the floor and somebody brains somebody to the face.
What's her name gets a very shallow help out. I think her friend hears that. She's like,
I think she heard that.
Well, no, but her line was, "Oh, what am I thinking? If you guys should be in your own room, why am I embarrassed?" And she goes upstairs, and then she said, "Help!" And then she hits him.
Right. I assumed she didn't hear that, and she just figured it out.
Yeah, it wasn't audible.
Came down, and it's just as you think. Every stupid thing that could possibly happen has happened. Catherine kicks Bert a couple times in the stomach and in the nuts, and that's about it. He's just been kicked, and he's on the ground going, "Oh, I've been kicked." She helps Lauren up, who's still wobbly, goes, wait here, I'll go get the car, and leaves her there with Bert
again.
Again.
Yes. But actually turned out to be probably kind of good.
I'm just like, you idiots.
Yeah, but I thought that
stupidest people I've ever seen in a movie.
Why would you wait? Why would you ever wait in the house with the bad guy?
Bert's not unconscious.
Go outside.
He's not dead.
No?
He's just a little,
And why are you going out the main door?
Yeah.
Both of you go out the back door.
They go out. She goes out the main door. Pam Grier is there, snaps Catherine's neck.
I felt bad about that.
Okay.
That made me sad.
It made you sad?
It did.
You were attached to Catherine after the 2 times you saw her doing a seance and doing something else.
Yeah, the seance was great. My line on that was, I hope they're not going to blow out all the candles. We're going to be here a long time. And she starts blowing out candles in the seance.
Pam snaps her neck, wakes up Bert.
Sad.
Now Pam Grier is gonna take Lauren back to the evil science facility. She says, Bert, you get this dead body of Catherine, get out of here, right?
He's like, what do I do? There's a river or something.
Yeah.
He says. Go to the river.
Gets Catherine into the car.
Well, no, Lauren was in. They loaded Lauren in the car with
that's right.
because they thought she was dead.
They thought she was dead too. What happens is he tries to leave, and Carl is at the end of the driveway.
Into the driveway.
This was a cool scene.
Ready to
pretty
vindicate.
Clint's already laughing.
This is good stuff. I liked it. I loved this part.
He tries to hit the gas, and Carl doesn't move.
He doesn't
No,
move.
he's just
Stops
there
the car.
spinning the tires, everything, and he just starts walking him backwards.
Knocking him backwards towards the
Carl's
tree.
out there just like, you know how long I've been waiting for you out here for?
I was gonna make that joke. This was Carl after being in the sun forever. It had nothing to do with the friggin'
He's like, you know how long I've been waiting out here?
Oh, Carl's have a long and storied history on our show.
But yeah, Carl walks this thing all the way back up against, I don't remember if it's a tree or
tree,
a wall, but
yeah.
he walks this thing up to a tree and just keeps walking into it, just
Pushing,
crushing
crushing,
the
man.
snot out of
It's
it.
like
Lauren
a-
bails out. And
It's like a slow-mo car accident,
Yes.
basically, right?
I'm curious how they did it. They
Right.
had to.
It was
I don't know.
awesome.
And
They're
did you know-
folding. He's folding this car like an accordion.
Yeah.
Bert hit the
crushing.
brakes too. Bert hit the brakes.
He's crushing this thing like an accordion. So Catherine's dead body is getting sandwiched
Yeah.
in there
Yeah,
with
I
Bert.
felt bad for
And
Between the
Bert,
steering wheel and
Bert gets crushed and killed.
Yeah.
And Lauren is out of the car at
rolls
this
out,
point. She
yeah.
rolls out, but Pam grabs her and takes her to the evil science lab.
Yeah.
And now they have
the Jeepster.
they have Lauren. Yeah, and the Jeepster.
Yeah.
They have Lauren as a prisoner now
That was a nice Jeep.
at the
CJ2,
evil science lab.
4 or whatever.
All right, we're almost there.
That was great. Bert bleeding from the mouth. He gets crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool. I don't know how they
Good
did it. But
comeuppance for Bert.
anytime you see a low budget film that pulls off this kind of stuff, like the incinerator shot before,
Yep.
or this here where they're folding up a car,
Yeah,
I mean, kudos to them.
They had to legitimately had something like some type of rig that they hydraulically crushed this car in.
Yeah.
That had points where they had his hands. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like
But even that, they're able to shoot it in a way that it doesn't look like it's obviously
Yeah.
something else crushing. It was really well done.
Yeah.
But back at the evil scientist research center, the monkey shooters are like, we're done. We're like, we don't get paid enough for this. The security guards.
so what they did to the last
The
guard.
smartest security guards I've seen in any movie.
I'm
And
going
guy's
on
like,
break.
they're all gone. He's like, I'm booking out
Yeah, I'm
sick.
out. He said, yeah,
I'm
I'm
like,
sick.
that guy's
I'm done.
genius.
Usually,
That's like-
right. The
yeah.
trope would be the security
Yeah,
guards.
they
would just-
stay. We're gonna die for our paycheck. I'm like, these guys are like, we don't get paid enough, and everyone else is gone. Let's go home, man.
What do? We die.
Right, their orders were let Carl through, but Carl didn't even go. He ripped through this chain link fence. I thought this was awesome
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah, it looked like spider web. It just
nothing.
breaks
Yeah.
Just
apart.
breaks
Right.
through it. And now he's walking through the facility. Carl's looking through all the science rooms with all the science machines. And then Hunter comes on the intercom because he sees him on the video, right?
He's in section G6.
Right. And so it's in the little room, the panic room or whatever. We got Hunter, Pam Grier. They've got their prisoner Lauren, and Alex, the main evil scientist, is in there
Still
also.
alive, yep.
Looking, he's gone full bad guy mode. Red turtleneck tucked into his Wranglers with a sport coat, looking smoking hot.
Nice hair.
Okay, with his nice
hair.
hair coughed.
Bob's
Steve
Brain
Jobs,
Award winner
baby.
for this movie.
That's for sure. For sure. And she basically says, all right, you're going to go to the room that's got the remote inhibitor that can turn off the rage mode, and you're going to reinstall it, or we're going to kill the girl.
Yeah.
Right? This is what we're going to do.
Okay.
Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
Great plan.
If you are a bad guy and this is the situation your idiocy has got you up to, this is the smartest plan you've had so far.
For sure. Doesn't work, though.
Doesn't work.
Because Carl knocks out the camera, and he does something.
With
we
a
don't know
bucket lid
yet.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Yeah, what
bucket lid
was
frisbee
that?
action.
We don't know what it is he's doing. He's doing some sciencey stuff with
stuff.
We
the,
find out later
with
what
the
he did.
tools. We do, but not yet. We don't know.
beep
We see
booping.
some pliers. All he needed was some pliers and whatever else he had there, and he got something done. But we don't know. He's now disappeared. Like, we got to go find him because we can't get him on the cameras. And so Hunter takes Lauren and is now searching the hallways, or maybe they're trying to get away. I don't know. But they run into a face-off with Carl. So
Yes.
now it's Carl at one end of the hallway,
Yeah.
Hunter here with Lauren on the other side of the hallway.
He tripped it so the blast doors would go down.
That's right.
Stuck in the hall.
And now they're stuck.
Yeah,
Blast
stuck.
doors are closed. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so he forced the face off. You're right. I should give him credit for that. But the standoff makes no sense because she's basically like, let me go or I'm going to kill her, which is a stupid thing.
And
Because
he's like, yeah, sure.
I'm
okay, bye.
I'll kill you anyway, right? And so Pam Grier realizes pretty quick and makes a new deal that if you let me pass with her, then I will give her to you, and then you just got to let me get out of here.
Right.
All right, fine. And he's like, I'll take the deal. Within 2 seconds of her trying to go past him using her as a shield, because again, if she gets close to him, she'll die. This is the thing at play here. She kind of blows the deal by like faking him out like he's going to.
Right.
And then he goes, "You're dead, Hunter." Like the deal's already blown at this point.
Right.
So she throws, as she's about to get to the other side of him, throws Lauren at Vindicator and takes off. And you think, oh no, because it cuts away. You think Lauren's dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it cuts to Pam Grier going down the other hallway, and it's straight into another blast door.
She's like, "Oh, I'm stuck.
She's not
Right.
out.
I'm stuck."
I ain't gonna lose to no man. That's for
That's
sure.
for sure.
And so she really, really hates. She hates the fact of losing to a man so much.
Well, doesn't he say you're going to lose and it's going to be bad for you or something?
Yeah.
I've seen the work you do. It's too messy. And she blows her brains out.
She shoots herself right in the head.
Yeah.
She messed up the danger sign.
Yeah, she left a mess.
Like, what the heck?
Is this when the Vindicator tells Lauren that he no longer gets angry anymore?
because this is where it's
thought I couldn't
revealed.
touch
You think he killed her.
Yeah.
Right.
She comes out.
But she comes walking around the corner, and you're like, and the audience is assumed to be, how did that happen? And this is where he tells her, I reprogrammed myself
Yeah.
while everyone was looking for me.
Yeah.
To now
Now I don't kill people
I don't
anymore.
have to kill people anymore.
Yeah.
I just like to, especially these people.
Right.
Evil
Now I can
scientists
kill
and
on
their
my own volition.
hunter.
And Lauren is still hot for Carl. Okay, she's still like grabbing on his
It's the
chest.
eyes.
She's like,
She's
Well,
like,
yeah,
I mean,
that suit was cool.
I was gonna say, if you gotta be with a cyborg, he's not a terrible.
Not a terrible looking cyborg.
I mean, it would be complicated, but you know,
I'm sure the
how complicated
cyborg
would it be?
I'm sure the
Yeah.
cyborg could figure out
They
some
can
way to
figure
make
out
things
something.
work.
Make it work.
Yeah. He programmed something,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
We got something going on. I mean, there's
sensory-
there's marital aids. He could use those.
sensory programming,
Yeah.
and things like that. Yeah, okay, fine.
He's a scientist. He can come up with some good solutions.
He does tell
They might
Lauren.
have a whole new industry for couples that have trouble with that. And he can create some, marital
And
aids that will help out.
He'll sell them. Call
Yeah.
the Vindicator 9000.
Yeah, there you go. Are you a cyborg who can't touch your woman? We have it for you. There you go. Yeah.
Let's take it back to space.
That's right, space drivers.
Yeah, and so he tells Lauren, he goes, all right, stay here. She immediately follows him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
immediately.
Yeah.
And we go into this room where you're going to have the final showdown. There's two levels basically. There's this green walkway, metal walkway, and then down the stairs there's two tables with what looks like two more Carls.
Yes.
Two more spacesuit
Yes.
guys,
They're in
which were previously dispatched scientists that
Yes.
are now in the suits. You're like, that's not good. And then to make matters worse, a third person shows up. Alex has himself in a suit.
Turned
have a
himself
problem.
into that.
Yeah.
I have a problem.
I have lots of questions.
He only made 3 of those chips.
Right.
Yep.
Remember? If you only made 3 chips, how you make 4 of these Vindicator majigs? All right. That's assuming that's
Well,
what
they said
stole
they
the chips
upgraded
for.
it.
But then, legitimately, how long do you think he was dealing with this hallway thing, reprogramming himself?
It wasn't that
trapping and
long.
killing Grier.
No.
Even if we go movie time, hour, maybe an
That's
hour.
being generous.
Maybe.
So we'll give him an hour. How did he turn himself with no assistant? The guards went home. He had no help. How did he turn himself into one of these things in like an hour?
Well, not only that, did he just scoop? He's like, hold on, let me scoop my brain out real quick and put it in the
But
suit.
I think it was
he was his
in
full
a
body
suit.
in
I
there.
think he was in a suit because I think
Oh,
it
you think
was.
they actually had a suit? He wasn't Cyborg, so he was in a.
He was in a suit because
Okay.
they made that point. I think earlier in the movie
that was the-
because that was the invention of the black scientist guy. That
But I thought the suit was an entire robot. Like there was no room for a human in there because it was all mechanics.
Maybe the
That's
first
what I'm
ones
saying.
were. Yeah, who
maybe
knows?
the first one.
So what is it? Is a suit that an entire human body can go inside of? Because that wasn't
Well, that's
part of
would
what
be,
it was.
Well, when
if you were
Alex-
making it to go to Mars, that's what it would be. If
Yeah.
you're going to send astronauts to Mars, that's what the suit
Yeah.
would
but he
wanna
has
be.
the powers that Carl has and the
like
strength
an
that Carl has.
exoskeleton suit.
But even
be.
when they show the arm thing they were working on, it wasn't something that a hand went inside of.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't make any damn sense. That all of
Well-
a sudden, here's Alex and he's just as superpowered in a suit. I just figured he just plopped his brain into a robot,
No, because he had his whole face. In
Cutting
Yeah, his whole face
cutting your
was
head,
there.
cutting your brain off.
cut his head off and
yeah,
stuck it
maybe
on
he
one of
stuck his
these
head in
things.
there.
put
Like
the probes in his
Futurama
brain?
stole that from them
I'm
too.
saying, dude.
This movie's like the
ridiculous.
seed for all of the great thoughts
right.
from 80s on.
Regardless, we can acknowledge that what is happening makes no sense. We can continue on to what actually happens, which
Yes.
is the final fight.
Which makes
Okay.
no sense.
And Carl and Alex, Alex looking clean in his gold suit, Carl in his burnt up version of the same
Yes.
thing. Have this knockdown, drag out
Oh, it's a great
fight.
it's
I
just-
thought this was
It was
great.
a great fight.
The fight scene was awesome.
That was a great fight.
They're ripping off guardrails, beating each other with them. At one point, it was kind of funny. He grabs this lamp and he's like, man, throws it at him. It's like tiny, does nothing.
Do anything. Yeah,
bounces off.
I did like when he busts the stair down.
Yes,
the whole staircase.
Kind of robot jock.
He goes downstairs. And the guy with one hand rips down an entire damn staircase.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the mezzanine section.
That
Like
was
a factory
awesome.
staircase. That was pretty good.
I did not expect to see in this kind of a low budget hack, what seems like a hacky movie. It had certain elements to it that were really well done.
Yep.
And this fight scene was one of them, man. He collapsed the whole freaking staircase. And it was legit like metal. It's not like, oh, they made this out of balsa wood and painted it. Like it was, I mean, I was
I bet
impressed.
they did make it out of balsa wood and paint it.
That was not wood snapping when they ripped that thing down.
Post-production, James.
For sure.
We need some metal sounds.
And I do like that while this like kick-ass fight is happening, Lauren's just downstairs just bumping into stuff.
Yeah.
Like starts ripping things
And
apart.
then she's trying to stop him or something.
As the other two are starting to wake up and she's just unplugging the toaster, thinking maybe that'll help, right? I'll get this thing unplugged.
Coffee
There's a lot of
maker.
stuff she was pulling around.
Unplugs the headphone jack on the side of the guy that has the white goo shooting out of it.
Yeah.
She's doing whatever she can. She eventually figures out the little port on the side where the white blood goes in.
Yeah.
Is where you've got to attack him. And so she
guess.
knocks the one thing off, and the one guy dies.
Drains
Bleeds out,
out.
yeah.
apparently.
Drains out of him.
Yeah.
And so she's able to do that and hit him in the nozzle. And then
An actual nozzle.
eventually this fight, because like I said, they ripped down the staircase, the fight between Carl and Alex makes it to the ground floor.
Yep.
And she's already knocked the nozzles off of these other two and killed them. And Carl ends up on top of, or no, Alex ends up on top of Carl, kind of pinning him on the ground. And she's standing there like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? He grabs the nozzle that came off one of the other dudes.
They're in a puddle of
white blood.
Yeah.
goo.
And it's kind of flopping around from the pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he grabs it, and I'm thinking, and I think we talked about this earlier,
Yeah.
he's going to plug it into himself.
Yes,
power
because he's
himself
been
back
leaking.
up.
Yeah.
He's been leaking for like half the movie.
Yes.
And he's going to like revitalize himself, but no. It didn't make any sense.
No, I wrote in my notes, how can they die from lack of fluid and too much fluid?
Right. Taking out fluid, bad. Putting more fluid in, also bad.
Do you know how water works with you?
Well, I just thought about that as I said it myself. So I
but
was
that's not
kind of
what's
in a
happening
snoozy
here, though.
nap, though.
No.
In these suits,
that's the thing.
There's a serious safety
assume
control issue with
that the port on the side is where you fill the hydraulic system
yes,
or
not
whatever
the whole
it is.
suit.
Not where you fill the cavity that the human goes in.
Because he drowned.
I really had a crisis. I sat here, I pulled my glasses off, and I was like, okay, let juice out, bad. Put too much juice in, also bad. What are we doing with this? It literally, you see his mask where you can see Alex's face start to fill up with the white juice, and then eventually he drowns in his own suit. And dies.
Yeah, there was clearly a fail-safe problem there because it stopped going
watch him
into
just flip
the...
over in his visor.
Yeah.
You idiot!
Why don't you just open the helmet? That's another like somebody hit the
We
brakes.
know you can open the helmet.
The hit the brakes version with the car is the open
Take the
your helmet up.
Take the helmet off.
Alex,
Yeah.
you're the best
Head
scientist.
The upgrade was that the helmet didn't open.
It didn't open.
That was, I had to.
I need air. What shall I do? Guess I'll die.
Yeah.
They were so impressed with how strong those goggles were. They're like, we're not making these helmets open because
these are
it's so
gonna be
amazing.
The whole helmet is made out of goggles.
Yeah.
Gosh, guys.
He's like, man, I shouldn't have put the impervious goggles in the helmet. Yeah, I was very confused by that.
The final cutaway. So after this, there's a very, very brief moment between Carl and Lauren.
Yeah.
And Carl is essentially dying himself.
Yes.
And he does die because we get a 30-second epilogue to wrap this whole thing up.
Yep.
It cuts to this
was
guy
still too
talking
long.
about how this guy helped them, these suits, and this is the cover story, right? Helped us to test out, these fire retardant suits so that now our guys will be more protected on Mars. And there's like a group in a museum looking at the empty burned up Vindicator suit next to a nice one. And they're talking about how this experiment saved lives of astronauts and all this stuff. And as everyone clears away but the last two, you see Lauren standing there with little Carl, who's maybe 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
And he says,
Daddy's a hero, right, Mommy?
yeah. And she goes, yes, he was Carl.
Was Carl.
And it kind of fades to the credits as they walk
credits.
away. What I really, because she's such an idiot, in my heart of hearts, I wanted the movie to end like this. He was a hero, wasn't he, Mom? Yes, Carl. And then she turns and walks into the wall. That's what I wanted to happen. Yes, Carl.
This ending.
Sadly, we did not get that.
No, this ending brought back memories of Hands of Steel ending. Just,
The year of the cyborg.
what?
Or whatever.
Right.
Has begun.
The age of the
Age
cyborg.
of the cyborg.
Age of the Cyborg has begun.
Yeah. All right.
This is definitely the best movie I watched today.
Well, guys, let's do what we usually do. Now that the movie's wrapped up, it's time to move on to the awards section.
All right.
And we're going to give this thing its flowers. We try to give it kudos where it deserves it and roast it where it also deserves it. Just like Carl got roasted in that incinerator.
did.
There's a
Got
lot
roasted.
of people getting roasted in this movie.
It's true. We're going to start, as we always do, with the Will Patton Award for Intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war! I don't want them to gain another yard. You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
That's right. Could you guys imagine? I know we do the thing with Arnold, like what if he was in the movie? But can you imagine if Will Patton had been Alex?
Oh,
how much
would have
God,
been
we'd had such a good
much
bad
amazing.
guy.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that would have been incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. But alas, we did not get him. We got the guy we got, Richard Cox, I think is what his name was.
Yeah.
No relation to Brady Cox, but spelled the same way. I'll find out maybe he's a long lost cousin of old Brady.
There you go.
Could be.
We'll shoot a telegram out to Morse code out to Nebraska and find out. All right, we're going to give us this award in Will Patton's name to the most intense actor because Will
Tense.
brings intensity and passion and seriousness to every part, even when he's in dumb movies like Roadhouse 2 and things that he's done before. But even the good ones, like Postman,
Yeah, Postman.
killed it.
Yeah.
So, Charles, who do you think is worthy of the Will Patton Award?
Again, worthy in these movies is always subjective. But I will say Pam Grier's Hunter.
Okay.
I thought she had some intensity, much more than most.
yeah.
And
Most
she
all
was
of it, yeah.
legitimately bad. And she played that well. I thought,
Yeah, the
when
needle
she-
through the neck.
Needle through the neck,
Oh,
yeah. And she snaps Catherine's neck. I was sad.
Came in and knocked out the monkey shooters.
Yeah.
Like, boom.
She was written turned up.
Is that who you're going with too?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also went with Pam Grier because, she was super intense, but I didn't get the sense that she was slumming it, or she at least wasn't acting like she was slumming
No.
it for a paycheck. It seemed like she
Right.
took it seriously.
I mean, I was toying with the idea. I was like, oh, maybe it was Alex. Maybe it was this guy. Maybe it was like, no, none of them were like all the way through the movie even level. There was like not doing much and much better in this scene.
Yeah.
No. This movie, if Pam Grier is not in this movie, this is a disaster. Right? And she kind of saves the day to me a little bit. What about you? And so don't feel the pressure because we all went with Pam Grier to go with Pam Grier.
I have a little bit different take on Pam Grier. I didn't go with her. I felt, obviously she stood, I think, head and shoulders above every other actor in this movie.
Fourth billing.
Fourth billing.
That's where she was in her career. Fourth to Richard Cox.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
And Carl, whatever his name was, Mackle, Beanie, whatever.
McWraithel, whatever.
Like all MCs and Ls. I feel she's a little laid back, even.
Okay.
Too laid back. I went off the board. I gave it to the cables holding the resin block.
Oh my God.
They tried their hardest.
The pyrotechnics crew was turned up.
Yeah.
They tried their hardest to hold that resin block in place.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
Well, let's
I'm a
go
little
to
bit scared about his meter. What's going to show out later here?
let's go to the patrons. Mike Harding wrote in, joining us again after I think he was on Basket Case. He really likes to come in on the on those
He knows how to pick them.
Yeah.
the ones that are going to be really obscure, which I appreciate. Mike said no one in the movie was more intense than the chimp they experimented on in the opening
He's
scene.
right about
He's
that.
right.
He's
not
right
wrong
about
about
that. Wow.
So the chimp gets a vote. So
I
it's
forgot about the non-human characters, or at least sentient characters.
3 for Pam Grier, 1 for the chimp, 1 for the cables.
Yeah.
And we got James Pulley writing in, and James goes, it goes to the chimp in the beginning. He attacked that robot like it was his agent for putting him in this movie.
This guy is way funnier than we are.
That's really good. Oh, that's
Guys,
great.
it's 3-2 with 1 to go. The chimps.
The chimp is there.
in there.
Bam.
I gotta change my
man.
vote too.
Ranger Hicks also wrote in, and Ranger Hicks did go Pam Grier.
All right.
She is legitimately the best part of the entire damn movie.
He's good.
Of
Every
humans,
scene.
yes.
Yes, every scene she's in, she's a major badass. It's a breath of of fresh air in a crap-filled porta potty, a drop of water in the desert. So very, very descriptive language from Mr. Hicks. And that means Pam Grier is going to win the Will Patton Award for intense. I bet she never thought she'd win an award for the Vindicator.
No.
Right?
But here we are.
No.
Somebody let her know.
Congratulations, Pam.
Yep.
She's like, I can't believe that's 5 more people who know about this movie now.
Right? She's probably furious that we were talking about
And we
it,
didn't
be
even
honest
pay
with
to
you.
watch it.
All right, the next award we give out is the award that we give out to the worst actor in the movie, the one that had the acting range of a trash can filled with dirt, which is why we call this the Steven Seagal trash can filled with dirt.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt, yeah.
Love never dies, and neither do they. Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
I'm never not laugh at that. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get sick of it and change it, but it's probably going to be a very long time.
I don't know. I might not ever get sick of it.
Love is eternal, and that is a long time.
That's right. All right, Charles, who's your Steven Seagal winner?
I'm going with Carl, Mr. David McIlrath
David
himself.
McIlrath.
Or
All
Wraith
right.
or whatever.
You didn't think Carl,
No, he was bad.
from behind the visage of
No.
the Vindicator suit, showed the
No,
proper emotion?
He was really bad at all
He was
his
like,
lines.
Bert!
Yeah, I think a trash can could have played this role just as well as he did. Yeah.
Just wheel it around.
Yeah.
Pretty much was.
Don't touch the trash can, it'll kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he pretty much was all metal and some parts and a little bit of brain in there. So, yeah.
Right. And Lauren was still into him, even though he was a
I
trash
mean,
can.
I give her props for, commitment in her marriage.
true.
Razor blade
Yeah.
top, just cutting heads off.
Yeah.
Don't get too close.
I went with Terry Austin. I went with Lauren.
Okay.
I actually, oh, no, wait, I forgot I changed it.
Uh-oh.
I did originally go with Terry. I changed it to Catherine Disher. I didn't like Catherine at all. I
What?
thought she was terrible.
Catherine was awesome.
No. I went with Terry, and then I remembered Catherine existed, and I
The
changed
friend.
it to the friend, yes,
Yeah.
that played Catherine.
I thought the friend was
No, good Lord,
Yep.
she was awful.
She
But
was
here's
great.
the thing.
Every scene she was in, I know why she went to be a voice actress, because she couldn't do her face like to be believable in any way, shape, or form.
Anybody could have done that role.
Yeah.
Like, legit. There could have been anybody. It could have
Yeah.
been an aunt. It could have been an older character, a younger character, a man character. Anybody, anything could have played that role.
That said, I don't think Terry Austin did great as Lauren either. She was kind of annoying, but I ultimately went with Catherine. How about you, Clint?
Yeah, I would go with you, the friend.
Catherine.
Yep, yeah.
All right.
Like anybody. Anybody.
Where'd you land on this one, Rye?
My initial thought was anybody not named Pam Grier. I'm going with Catherine. As well.
Catherine
She's
Disher,
just
3 votes.
Terrible, man. She's
Like
terrible.
Catherine.
Terrible. Just terrible.
She had the best lines in the movie.
Name one.
Is this how you always greet people? And then her
Hilarious.
that was great. He's got a statue above her, and that was good. And then the whole going up the stairs thing, that was good.
If you guys needed some privacy, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I liked her.
She got her neck snapped by just bending her neck the way it already bended.
Yeah.
It was just
Look.
just down.
Look, Greer,
Like your
Hunter
chest
knew what
stops,
she
your
was
neck from
doing.
breaking at
She
that
killed. You
point.
can't blame her for dying when someone murders.
I do blame her for dying when
Yeah.
someone murdered her. All right, let's go. James Pulley said every single actor in this movie was bad, even Pam Grier. They all were terrible. I'm pretty sure 90% of the cast didn't ever speak above a hushed tone. In a horror film about a killer robot man, the
This
wife.
is a horror film.
I don't think so.
I think it could be taken. I mean,
I guess.
Maybe a
sci-fi
little bit.
horror. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The wife and Bert were especially bad. So, yeah, not a Terry Austin fan either. That fight scene in the house between them was so darn weird and boring. So, it gets an everyone vote from James
Everyone.
Pulley.
Okay. Well, that means
Well, that'll break any ties we have
there
then
you go.
because he said everybody.
like what's that card in Uno? The
Yeah.
Wild.
wild card.
Really?
Draw four wild card.
Ranger Hicks says, honorable mention, he just wants to say, screw Bert. All my homies hate Bert. All my homies hate Bert. Go back to My Cousin Vinny and eat your magic grits. And he went with Terry Austin as Lauren. I didn't buy her attempt to act like she was grief-stricken. I didn't buy her awe when she saw Carl. She didn't seem that surprised to see Carl.
No.
She was like, oh, what's up? And I didn't buy her fear when the suits came to life at the end. You're right. These guys start to sit up and she just starts unplugging things.
I know, they just start doing the Undertaker thing.
Yeah, she just kind of was like...
So we're blaming her for like doing actually something smart?
But she didn't seem like, oh no, I'm in trouble.
Well, because she's like, I'm a woman of action.
She's like, I'm already unplugging shit. I'll just unplug their goop meter thing here too.
He did like certain aspects of this performance.
Yeah.
He goes,
I'll talk about it in a minute.
He says, this actress would basically be a trash can full of dirt if she didn't have a butt shot and an occasional panty shot. I wasn't sold. Oops. Get rid of her and have Carl be married to a trash can. Immediately a better recast. That's harsh. Harsh takedown from Ranger Hicks.
Yes.
He did not like Terry.
Ranger bringing it
at all. And then lastly, Mike Harding said, I went back and forth between a dozen different people for the trash can, and in the end, I chose Pam Grier. Wow. After Hicks earlier said she was the best damn part of the movie.
Yeah.
He went with Pam Grier. I didn't believe her as the tough badass they tried to portray her as. Yeah. She seemed to be completely unnecessary to the movie, especially considering when she finally came face to face with Carl, she just shoots herself in the head. And it was a total waste of what could have been a great character. Yeah, they could have probably had a better showdown, maybe.
Yeah, but that's not her fault.
No, it's not Pam's fault.
That's the Frenchman and the writer.
I appreciate you brought that up. We probably should have mentioned that at the time, too.
So you're saying the Frenchman wrote the surrender scene?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
They seem to have...
Cheese-eating surrender monkeys?
They seem to have built up this showdown, and then they just don't have one.
Yeah. Right. Didn't pay off.
She does give up pretty quick when the door's locked. So
guess
it's like, door's locked. I'm in here with the killer cyborg.
Yeah.
So that means ultimately, though, Catherine Disher is going to win the trash can filled with dirt. A lot of split votes there, but three took it home for Catherine. So congratulations, Catherine.
Also, probably didn't think she was winning anything for Vindicator.
No, certainly not. Somebody let her know. We all said she was terrible.
I did not say she was terrible.
But let her know also that I love the X-Men cartoon and her performance as Jean Grey.
There you go.
That'd be great. Some positivity, see?
It's just for this one.
Just for this one. Yes. All right, the next thing we do is our top 3 performances. This is where we say, regardless of how, maybe we love these people because performance was so ridiculous and stupid, it made us laugh. Who were your top 3 performers in the movie? Charles, you got your top 3?
Yes, I do.
All right, hit me.
I have this, I think I'm going to do this in opposite order.
Okay, so you're going to go 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1?
Okay, so my number 3 is Bert.
Bert.
I liked Bert.
Maury Chaklin.
I thought he did it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. I enjoyed his performance. I believed he was a weirdo kind of guy.
Yeah.
And even a little conflicted, maybe.
I'm assuming at his age, he has kissed a woman before in his life.
Maybe,
but I legitimately believed he hadn't yet.
Might not have.
When I saw him act that scene.
Yes. My number 2 is Alex White. I enjoyed his performance. I thought he was a decent enough bad guy.
Richard Cox.
Yeah, Richard Cox. His hair was always immaculate.
Perfect.
And I kept picturing Steve Jobs for some reason. So I was like, hey, it's like I'm watching Apple being formed here. It's awesome.
Perfect.
And I know you all just said the opposite, but my favorite was the Catherine Disher.
Catherine Disher's your number 1 performance in the movie?
I thought she brought some actual humor, some actual light into the film.
She didn't bring anything. She probably didn't bring her wallet with her.
This movie was as flat as you could possibly get.
Yeah?
And she brought something.
What? Herself?
A terrible performance. That's about all she
brought. Herself. That was better than all the rest of the people.
Wow. That was so
and
unexpected.
I was legitimately sad when she got killed.
If it makes you feel any better, he wrote them in the opposite order, and he only changed that because you guys were so mean.
No.
Well, maybe. I was debating.
Okay. I sometimes at the last minute change my after considering.
I enjoyed her.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm going to put down Lauren strictly on physical attractiveness.
She was
getting out of the tub.
The Ranger Hicks factor.
Oh yeah, the
7 seconds.
Scene.
All right, that 7 seconds of film puts her in the number 3 spot.
Jeez Louise.
Pam is going to get the number 2 spot, and my number 1 is going to go to the fellas at underwriting who stretched $4.2 million to cover all those death benefits because I think they actually killed those people.
That's right, man. How many monkeys did they kill in this?
I know.
Yeah.
Beardo fell out of the closet there at the end.
Right at the end. Black. flap. He looked dead.
He was about ready. They didn't have enough gold suits for him.
Forgot to watch the credits and made sure they put the disclaimer about no animals were harmed.
Oh yeah, I think
it wasn't on
in the
there.
80s. That wasn't a thing
Yeah,
yet.
it wasn't a
Canada,
thing.
maybe they got around that. I don't know. All right. Well, look, my top 3, I had Maury Chaklin at number 3. So yeah, Bert number 3. I thought his scenes where he was like seemed conflicted. He sold it because I didn't think he was a bad guy. I totally didn't see the twist coming. So I thought he did a good job. Pam Grier, I gave number 2. And with number 1, I actually went with David McElrath. I liked him as Carl.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of it was vocal. He didn't have a ton of acting to do except for right here. But that suit can't be easy to run around and do the stuff he's got to do. I thought he gave a good performance. Yeah. And I liked it sounded a little goofy, but I liked the Bert. I need you, Bert. I just got a kick out of it. It wasn't like good acting, but I enjoyed it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It had like a little Bane factor to it, kind of.
Yeah, you could have put a walkie-talkie in a trash can and it could have accomplished that.
Okay, this isn't an acting award so much as I enjoyed it because, yes.
Oh, that's right. You can like it even though it's crap.
Right.
I'm acknowledging it was
Yeah,
crap.
it's true. I like Catherine Disher, so that's what I did. Yeah.
All right, Mueller. What you got?
3 gets. I went 3. I'm gonna flip my 3 and 2. I had 3 is now going to the resin block, running that truck off the road.
Jesus.
2, I'll give it to Paco Jr., David McElroy.
Paco Jr. Okay. Like it?
Yeah, I like the head crush. I mean, like you said, he did the best he probably could with what he was in and what he could do. And
I think he's better than Paco. He had abs of steel and buns of steel and all the steel.
Titanium,
Right.
gold wrap that was burned off. I mean, he had it all.
Right. Paco had hands.
Yeah, right. Paco did chop a rattlesnake's head off.
He did.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
And number 1, I went Pam Grier.
Pam Grier. All right. Respect.
All right,
Respect.
yeah.
It does beg the question if Paco, the Hands of Steel cyborg, who was a legit cyborg head to toe, not just his hands,
Yes.
fought Vindicator, who do you think wins that
Paco
fight?
wins.
Paco.
You think
Does
so?
Vindicator already have the leaky ooze port?
Well, I don't know. Let's
Or
just
are they
assume,
in mint condition?
Let's assume they're both in mint condition.
We never saw Vindicator do anything fast.
Yeah, that is true. He was not fast. Paco was
fast. He chopped that snake in half and didn't even touch the guy's hand.
Paco got dragged by a tow truck and beat up and still came in
and he did that.
chopped the rattlesnake head off. And
Hanging,
This guy was
bent up.
losing to a scientist.
Yeah,
He also
another good point.
Paco does dodge lasers. Also,
he does.
He does.
You know.
Yeah.
All right, Paco's going to
Paco takes it.
All right, here's the top 3 from our patrons. Hicks went with David McElrath, also number 3. So I'll give credit where credit's due. It must have been hell to move in that suit, and he looked awesome as hell too. I got a little sold by his emotion and that synthesized voice. He wasn't that great, but he tried. 2, Pam Grier. I'm serious when I said my Will Patton nominee is the best actor in the movie. Admittedly, there were some instances when I thought, are they just trying to make her an evil version of Ellen Ripley? So, especially with the acid guns, right? Yeah. But overall, she's seriously the only reason worth watching this movie, besides how cool the suit is when it's really all burned up. And I think I kind of agree. Pam Grier and the burnt up suit are the only 2 reasons to watch this movie, I think.
Yeah.
Number 1, he gave it to all the chimps.
Chimps. They broke out.
Besides Pam Grier, the chimps in this movie were seriously the only actors who proved to have a believable performance. The performance being extremely pissed off.
Yes.
Also, I'm happy they killed Gale.
Yeah.
That's how Hicks
I was
feels
waiting
about
for him to bust out and rip some arms off and start slapping people around with them.
That's right. And Mike Harding gave it to the security guards that rush
Yeah.
in
That's a
when the
good one,
monkeys
yeah.
escape.
I thought about them.
I love those guys.
Those
Those guys were awesome.
The security guys are good in this.
Awesome.
That guy, I'm booking out of here sick. I'm not staying around this place.
He gives number 2 to Carl, the Vindicator, and number 1 to Terry Austin. So we got people saying Terry Austin's the worst. Somebody saying she's the best. We got people saying Pam Grier's the worst. Pam Grier is the best. The opinions have varied wildly.
That's because the level of trash is so flat on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody is hovering around the 1% mark. So a little bit of change is huge.
They leveled out the landfill on this one.
What the movie desperately needed was Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Frankenstein.
Frank
He could've-
as Vindicator.
No,
Yeah.
he could have wrote it.
Vindicator.
He could have shot it. He could have.
It would have been better if Arnold had done all
He
of
could have.
this. Yes.
He could have literally probably typed the freaking intro stuff faster than the crap intro credits.
Well, since it's a knockoff of Terminator, well, not really script-wise, it's not a knockoff, but they named it to try and get a rub off from Terminator, basically. Terminator's one about where you try to get the rats. Terminator. He hunts rats.
I'd like that. I'd watch that movie over this any day.
In the future.
It stars Dale Gribble.
But maybe Arnold's like, I can't do the Vindicator because it's too much like Terminator, so he wants to stretch and wear the glasses and the turtleneck and be Alex, the
I
evil side.
was thinking he could have been Alex too.
Right?
Could have been a bad guy.
And then, like, at the end, he doesn't fit in the suit. Like, he tries to come out, and the suit's like all like his muscles are showing out. And
It's just him and his pants. He's just got his shirt off.
Right, it's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
but he's got the suit, but it's just like inside of his clothes.
See,
But he's walking around. He's got this.
I don't even think he'd need the suit. I think he'd be like, all right, time for Showdown. He'd just take his turtleneck off, be down to his Wranglers, and he would just fight him.
That's all Arnold would need.
Like, you'd have a whole Cyborg suit just versus Arnold, and Arnold could still rip the staircase down with his one hand.
Yep.
And it would have been a cool fight still, right?
Nah, he would have been better as a Vindicator.
Arnold as Hunter.
Think about this. He's like, all right, listen to me. I know you want your funding, right? And you want your money, but there's important things going. And so if you just wait a couple of days, and then I will get you the funding, okay? All right, we have to kill him immediately. And then when the secretary walks in, and he smacks her in the face.
Flies across the room?
Flies across the
That's
room.
terrible. That's awful.
No.
How can he kill his people? Don't talk to me like that. Ah.
He could have literally been any role, and it would have been I need bus fare. He could have been anybody, and it's better.
He would have been a
Arnold
pretty
with
good
his shirt
beard
off in
guy.
that suit would have been better than looking at that chick.
What if he's a security car coming in shooting the monkeys? That's
right.
Yeah, there you go. Or doing coke up his nose as Beardo.
Beardo.
Did he ever wear beard in any movies?
He did towards the end. I mean, now he wears a beard all through FUBAR.
Okay.
He's got a beard, I know. I just finished FUBAR, by the way. I don't know if you guys have all watched
I haven't
it.
watched
I
it.
haven't watched
It's legitimately good. It's not...
I don't think you have to be an Arnold fan to
No.
enjoy it. I know it's going to help.
It's a comedy, which it's more comedic. I thought it was going to be more of a straight action thing, but that's fine. I think it's legitimately funny, which is good for a comedy. If it's not funny, it's not. That kind of sucks. But I don't know if people were going in. It's got some mixed reviews. If people went in thinking it was going to be something that it wasn't. But for a 75-year-old Arnold, I don't know what you guys. You're never going to get Commando Arnold ever.
Right.
And for this, at his age, I thought it was.
I got to watch it before we get cut off because we did the illegal sharing thing.
Oh, well, watch it immediately. It's only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's an easy watch.
I legit watched this movie, and I love Arnold, the series.
Yeah.
I
And
like how we're
can
talking
tell
about
you-
another show now.
Yeah, well, it was better.
It's not even a movie.
And I can tell you, like,
That's right. This whole movie is FUBAR.
other characters in it are
That's right.
just as interesting.
Right.
So it's like you care about all of the different characters.
For
The
sure.
interactions are great.
For sure.
All right.
And so James Pulley said, yes, put Arnold in it, no matter where. Even if he was the chimp and he's in a chimp outfit, stuck in the cage. He's like, I'll get this robot away from me. If I ever get out of this cage, I'm going to kill you.
What
You
if
just
you
grab
made
Alex's
what if
stick and
you,
pulls it in and starts poking back.
What if you made Arnold the resin?
That's what
You can just hold him.
Arnold's the
Hold
truck.
him really tight.
Hicks says, do you even have to ask? They clearly changed this film's name from Frankenstein 88 to Vindicator, probably because of Terminator. So yes, it'd be acceptable. Just make him Carl. However, how about we make Arnold Lauren? Clearly, the man was fine with butt shots at that time, and it would make the scene with Bert and Lauren less squicked out. Less squicked out? I don't know if that was maybe a typo. Squeaked out scene in the movie? I don't know. Arnold would just throw Bert out of the window. As soon as he tried to kiss Arnold while he's choking him with the phone wire,
The phone wire wouldn't be long enough to go all the way around his neck.
Yeah.
launches him.
Breaks the phone wire.
Yeah, and Mike Harding said, yeah, obviously just make him the Vindicator. Yeah. So, guys, we ultimately got to land on something here. We got to come with a final rating for this thing. Looks like 23% of the audience liked this movie. I'm interested to see if there's one person here or from our patrons that thought this was a good movie. Charles, where'd you land on this?
Okay, so here's my thing on this movie.
Yeah.
I fell asleep in this movie. I've never fallen asleep in any of the movies we've ever done. So the other thing is, when I got to the end of this movie, I realized I think this was supposed to be kind of like a drama.
I think it tried to have something to say.
Yeah. Like it was like the action was boring for the most part. The acting was boring.
What was the message?
Story was boring.
Science is bad.
Don't play God.
It was like, what am I? There's nothing here.
What do you think the through line? What was the story?
I fell asleep, man.
You don't know? I think it's.
Don't let Steve Jobs run sciencey stuff. That's it. That's the moral. Apple's bad. See what happens if you let Apple run the play. I don't know. This is a bad movie.
Straight up bad.
The bad movie.
All right, that's one for straight up bad movie. I respect it.
Bad movie. It has to be a bad movie. That's a given, I think, across the board. Nobody's going to say this is a good movie. I enjoyed it. I didn't hate this movie. I don't know why. I cannot put my finger on the why, but I watched it a second time.
If there was no boobs in this movie, would you watch it twice and said it was good?
That wasn't even the reason. Yeah. I absolutely would watch it.
That's when I perked up in the movie. It was when I saw those scenes.
Hold on a second here.
Yeah.
Well, the one boob scene was like, eh.
Yeah. So bad movie that rules?
Bad movie that rules, yeah.
Okay. Wow, I
mean, it may barely rule, but it rules.
All right.
It's better than Ernest crap.
Now you wait just a damn minute. All right.
Ernest would have been an awesome Vindicator.
Oh, God.
I also don't understand.
He probably would have.
I wish I could do an imitation of Jim Varney as Vindicator.
And one more thing I want to say is I still don't understand the name. That pisses me off a lot too.
It's supposed
what
to
is
be
he vindicating?
What does it mean to vindicate somebody? It means that you've cleared them of wrongdoing, right?
Yeah, but what is his name? What was his character? What did Carl ever do to need vindication?
Carl was he implicated in the science experiments in any way?
No, because he was making
he was going to blow the whistle.
He was making chips.
He was going to blow the whistle.
Maybe he vindicated their souls from their bodies.
It just sounds like Terminator.
No.
That's it.
So that in and of itself should make it a just plain bad movie. Stop.
Would Frankenstein 88 would have been a better title?
That was a horrible
in 1986. In 2 years, this is what Frankenstein is.
That's right.
In the future. In the future.
All right, Mayor. Hit us with the dog poop.
I wanted to like this movie so much.
Yeah.
It seemed right up my alley. Robot jocks, hands of steel.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
This is the one where, and you want it to be good, so you got the dog is dragging his ass across the carpet. You swat him with the paper. Gets up and walks a little bit like
Roomba.
There's something. He just drags his ass again across the carpet again, and then shits on his way out the house. It's just a bad movie.
Bad movie.
It's
full
just
stop.
bad. Full stop.
I understand. I respect it. I do.
I'm worried.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough one, especially when you hold it up to Hands of Steel. I'm trying to think of some of the other super low budget, kind of obscure ones that we've done.
Kind of low budget.
Yeah, that was for sure. Winners Take All.
This movie was not fun. It was boring.
All right, here's what I'm going to say. It's 100% a bad movie.
Yeah,
that rules.
Find another one.
I have a little bit of more. I was just thinking about while you guys are going by why I might have liked it, but keep going on yours. I want to hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. To me, guys, it's sometimes it's even an unspoken thing. If I don't think about a movie after I watch it, right? Like Basket Case. After that, I was like done with this movie, but after it kind of lingered. As I wrote this outline, I'm like, it's bad. I'm not going to pretend it's not bad. There's some great shots. There's some great sequences.
They're like two.
I could watch it again. I could watch it again.
You would watch this again?
I wanted to like it so bad.
I'm going to watch this to go to sleep tonight.
I have another. I think that extra 1% for me is all the 80s cars.
There you go.
I'll give you that. The Audi and the
I've got
Cabriolet.
a little bit of extra. I see this. I see that in the background.
Nova. He was driving a Nova that got crushed. Yeah. It said Nova on the steering wheel.
I was going to ask what kind of cheap car that was. He crushed it against a tree.
Yeah.
But and the Cadillac flower car.
Cadillac flower car
was also in there. So yeah, I'm going bad movie that rules, guys, and I feel fine about it. Let's see what the patrons had to say. James Foley said this movie may be the new king of no reason.
No reason.
Characters are not introduced. Things happen with no explanation. How was he talking through the synthesizer? How did the acid, the guns melt the suit, but not the guns that it was held in? I think I mentioned James said that earlier. Why is Pam Grier in the movie? And for being a horror movie, the kills were tame at best and nonsense at worst.
So exactly, what is this movie?
It was a horror movie.
I don't think.
I think he just thinks. I see how someone could think that. Look at the cover; it looks like a monster movie.
Yeah.
Well, and his brain's getting stuff stuck. But for a horror movie, it's a bad movie.
And my girlfriend and I kept laughing at Carl's voice.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at my voice. It was like a broken fast food speaker.
I need to see Bert. That was just the quality of the 80s.
Please pull around.
That was high tech.
That's probably what it was.
And my girlfriend also pointed out a few times you could see the boom mic.
Yep.
Yeah. And at one point she said, there it is again. So in conclusion, this movie is so bad. It's like a Pam Grier neck break. It's awkward, sloppy, and not executed correctly at all.
That's nice. That's good.
She did break her neck in the same direction and neck bends.
Right.
For
I
sure.
mean,
Maybe she didn't break the neck. Maybe she pulled the head down and stabbed her with that stabby.
Now, I never noticed the boom mic, and you told me before we started that you did see it.
You
Where
can
is
see the boom mic in the scene where he kills the monkey and then he walks back. As he's walking back, so looks like we got a lot more work to do. The boom mic is right there. And I saw it again in the church, like right at the top when he's walking back out away from Lauren.
So not perceptive.
Yeah.
I never see that stuff either.
No. Mike Harding said, I really wanted to like this movie, just like you were saying, Mueller. Yeah. There's some cool effects and creative death scenes. The last 30 minutes is crazy. It is. Once Bert gets to Lauren's house to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
The last 30 minutes are bonkers. The final fight is totally bonkers, but I just can't find enough to make me recommend this or watch it again. So
I wouldn't recommend it.
Vindicator is a straight up bad movie.
Bad movie.
2 bad movies from the patrons. James Pulley and Mike Harding said bad movie.
Are we tied then?
So no, it's 4-2 right now because you guys both said bad.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And we can't fix it.
We can't fix it now. So here's Ranger Hicks with the final word.
Ranger.
James, he directed this directly to me.
Oh.
I want to rescind my verdict about Hands of Steel because he had said that was a bad movie.
Oh.
Full stop.
Well, it was ruled though, but
it is now a bad movie that ruled. He saw this and changed his mind about Hands of Steel.
We told you, Ranger. We told you.
Yeah, so exactly.
This changed the curve.
Because
we lowered the floor yet again, everybody.
Because The Vindicator is, in all caps and bold print, a bad movie.
Yes.
This movie is not even worth laughing at. There are hardly any jokes to make.
There aren't any.
I
That's
hope we
why I
made
like
some
Catherine
jokes.
Disher. She was the only one that had joke line.
He's saying there's not even any jokes to make about it, but hopefully
there's plenty of jokes
we
to make
did
about
and you
it.
enjoyed it. They should have never called it Vindicator. They should have just kept it with Frankenstein, mostly because it has more in tow to a suspense movie than an action movie, which I agree. I was really hoping that maybe the final battle between Carl and White would make it all worth. That's Alex's last name. It wasn't. Was there anything good about this ending? The ending, and not just because it was over. I thought the ending was all right. It was nice. Carl got to be considered a hero, but this is why I'm rescinding my verdict on Hands of Steel. I remember I dumped on that movie hard because while I greatly enjoyed the movie, I felt its ending ruined the entire experience. It was a terrible ending.
terrible
for Hands of Steel.
Yes.
It's terrible.
However, Vindicator showed me that a good ending to a movie means nothing if the movie isn't entertaining. Okay, so sorry I got that messed. That was how I read it a little bit badly there, but he's basically saying that the ending was all right, but it didn't matter. I only enjoyed 2 things about it: the cool-looking robot suit and Pam Grier. I would seriously never watch this movie ever again. Strong words from Ranger Hicks, but at least if one positive thing came out of this, it's that he now likes Hands of Steel a little bit better, right?
There you go.
I love that movie. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I go back to it, the more I like Hands of Steel.
I mean, he had giant lasers. In
I
the
might
end.
watch it. I might have to go watch Hands of Steel again now.
Come on, man. I'm the greatest cyborg. Oh, man.
Yeah,
well,
this was a bad movie. I think the reason suspense is a category I hadn't thought of.
That's the thing. I think as a suspense movie, there was the one turning point where we like, all right, he's a little creepy. He does want the family. He wants the family.
Yeah.
He wants the family. But we didn't know he was turning against.
But
and
he's
then
like
there's
a
a moment
bit
where he might
character
turn
in the
against
film,
the other way. There was a double flip-flop attempt.
I will say it's not nearly as good as Hands of Steel. And so maybe I'll change it to bad movie that barely rules, because if you hold it up against Robot Jock's Hands of Steel, those other ones, it's not as good.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
There's only 3 freaking levels. All right? It's either a good movie, a bad movie, or a bad movie that
I was
rules.
just thinking how Clint has come conformed
You
so well.
cannot use
like it.
the thingy.
I like this. Continue to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think that makes it
not
25% between the Patreons.
Yeah,
and
we're
all of
roughly
us, right?
close.
it's
Yeah.
not nearly as good
30.
as those things. I think this came down to the filmmaker in me. And when I see these people that don't have a lot, I mean, they had $4 million, which is more than Hands
Can
of
I
Steel
just say, for all the actors' sake?
But yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but what some of the stuff they were able to accomplish, like, hit me in my heart, and I was like, I like it. So sorry.
I really hope the actors got paid, not percentage of income the movie
Oh,
made.
man.
4% of the gross. Can you imagine? It'd be terrible.
Well, here's There's the thing, you look at $4.2 million. A lot of the stuff they did was expensive. $4.2 million isn't a ton of money in 1980 to make a ridiculous movie like this with explosions. And there's like 45 different scene locations. Maybe not 45, but there's a lot of different goings on. I just don't think they used their smallish budget as wisely as they could have.
Well, look, next week we're going to talk about another movie that has, I don't know, maybe a little bit more money. It certainly doesn't look like it when I saw the trailer. This is another Patreon poll winner, and it was a comeback award here because we took the last 6 movies that had finished second in previous polls, put them all up against each other, and let them have a second chance, so to speak. And next week we will be talking about Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., another 90s Marvel movie before Marvel got their crap together. And
they figured it out.
You know who was cast, for those of you who might not know, as Nick Fury in this movie in 1998? David Hasselhoff stars as Nick Fury in this movie. Eye patch and everything.
That's amazing.
So we're going to get to weigh him against Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Who do you think probably did the part better?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Probably Samuel.
You think? Maybe. We'll see. I don't want to render a verdict before.
I don't know. Is it drunk Hasselhoff with the burger? Or cheeseburger or whatever?
I'll never forget that.
Poor guy.
So join us next week.
He brought
for that.
the wall down, and all we think about is his cheeseburger.
You're right. We appreciate all of you for listening. If you listen all the way through on the Vindicator, you guys are the diehards, and we love you guys. So
you watch this pile of
We're sorry for it.
diehard.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll catch you next week with Nick Fury. On behalf of Charles Hewitt, Clint Bush, Ryan Mueller, I'm James Hauser. Thank you for listening. He's the Vindicator, but we don't know what it means.
Yeah, really.
Nope.
That's all we got.
Bikers coming. I was going to think about the biker gang.
The Canadian bikers. They're very polite when they die.
Please don't hurt me anymore.
Please don't hurt me anymore. What am I?
I'm a machine.
All I got is a brain and eyeball.
Get me Bert.
Bert.
I need Bert.
I've always loved you.
Get me Bert and a side of tacos. That'll be $12.99. Please pull around.